Yes, welcome inside Wembley Stadium on a beautiful, sun-kissed spring afternoon. Out come the teams from the tunnel, and a great ovation from the two sets of supporters. The Brighton players, led by Lewis Dunk, turn to their right, and they see an absolute sea of Brighton, blue and white. And up there on the top tier, a huge banner has just come down which reads, "The Pride of the South Coast." And the flags are waving, and the noise is intense. And the Manchester United end to the left, there is a montage right up on the top tier there as well, of red and white and black, and a huge Manchester United flag in the same colours with the red devil on it is being handed across the tops of the supporters there. I know it was a talking point yesterday that Wembley wasn't full, but it does look full today as the players now go and shake hands across the arch, the red arch that is there over the halfway line. And the question is, who is it going to be who will play Manchester City here on Saturday, June the 3rd in the FA Cup final? We might have a Manchester Derby final. It's never happened before. Or we will have Brighton and Hove Albion in a cup final here at Wembley for only the second time. Now, it's only 57 days since Manchester United were involved in a cup final here, so there will be no treble for them now after Thursday night in Seville, but it could yet be a domestic cup double, and that would be a brilliant first season for Eric Ten Hag.
I think given the state that Manchester United were when he took over, it's an outstanding job, to be honest. The foundations that he's had to lay in this time have actually been monumental, and they're having a little bit of a wobbles, a little bit of indifferent form, but on the whole, he's done an excellent job.
The good teams react to bad results and bad performances, and since right at the start of the season when they lost his first two matches, since then, whenever Manchester United have lost 6 matches across the various competitions, they've come back and won their very next match. So the team news, there's plenty to talk about here. Brighton first of all, Robert Sanchez is in goal, even though Jason Steele is fit. Sanchez continues in goal. Gross at right back, with Veltman only fit enough to be on the bench. Dunk and Webster in central defence, not the very promising Levi Colwill, who's on the bench. Stupinian is the left back, then McAllister and Caicedo, then Julio Enciso, the 19-year-old Paraguayan. As the BBC World Service listeners join us here at Wembley Stadium, just running through the Brighton team: Sanchez, Gross, Dunk, Webster and Stupinian, McAllister and Caicedo. Then Enciso starts the match. Only the fifth match that he has started, the fourth match that he started for Brighton and Hove Albion. Great talent in the making. March and Matoma in the wide positions, and with another exciting youngster, Evan Ferguson, out injured, it is Danny Welbeck, with all of his former Manchester United experience, who will be the centre forward. And Manchester United still with big injury problems. No Martinez, no Varane. Maguire suspended for this one, so it's Lindelof and Shaw in central defence. Wan-Bissaka at right back, Gallo at left back, De Gea in goal again after his difficult night on Thursday, Casemiro and Eriksen, Bruno Fernandes back from his European suspension as captain, and then Anthony, Martial and Rashford as the front three. So we are all set here at Wembley Stadium. The sun is shining down, the arch above, even though we can't see it, I'm sure it'll be gleaming. Referee Craig Pawson blows his whistle, and Brighton get this second Emirates FA Cup semi-final of the weekend underway. Manchester City already there in the final, and here we are between Brighton 8th in the Premier League, Manchester United 3rd in the Premier League, already having won the Carabao Cup. And it is Brighton who make the first attack down the right-hand side, and it is cleared via a deflection out of play for a throw-in to Manchester United. Matthew Upson's here with us in the 5 Live commentary box, former England defender and indeed former Brighton player as well. We shouldn't forget that today, but generally, Matt, the prospects of what lies ahead.
I think you're going to see Brighton get a real foothold in this game. I mean, I think they've played against Manchester City this season and just edged them on possession. That's how good they are with the ball, and that's how they like to play. They like to play out from the back. They don't rush things. They build carefully, and then they switch the ball wide early. And I think you'll just see Brighton try and get possession and a little bit of a keep ball session in the middle of the park or at the back and just settle the game down a little bit.
Manchester United with it. Martial, who's got gloves on. I don't think they'll be on for long. Fernandes, now right-footed ball, crossfield by a diagonal, but Gross is behind that, and then it's headed forward and will just dribble out the play for a throw-in after it was headed forward by Diogo Dalot. That's one of the interesting things. We saw this from Eric Ten Hag in our commentary this time last week in the Premier League at Nottingham Forest when Dalot played at left-back, but did the fashionable thing, and from full-back would move himself into midfield. So keep an eye on that. Even though Malacia is fit, he is on the bench, and the right back Dalot is at left back.
How are you feeling about the gloves on Martial, John?
Yeah,
where do you sit with that?
I hope we've got a clock running on that, because I don't think he'll have them on for long. Here's Wan-Bissaka at the back. He's up against Mitoma, who is another of the exciting talents, and then De Gea passing it out from the back. That's a hot topic, but he managed to find the pass to Wan-Bissaka. However, it is Brighton in the blue and white striped shirts with the white panels on the back, blue shorts, blue socks, who lose possession, and Manchester United in the red shirts. Here it is now to Rashford. Rashford from running from just inside the Brighton half, slips it into the penalty area. Then he was challenged by Caicedo on the edge of the box. There's half an appeal to referee Pawson, who just shakes his head, and Brighton have it.
Well, that right there, that's the matchup Manchester United are going to want in this game. Get it out to Marcus Rashford all day long if he's got space, and a 1v1 opportunity against Pascal Gross. Pascal Gross backed off and backed off and backed off, nearly into his own 6-yard box. He didn't want to, the moment he steps in, he knows Rashford's got the speed of foot just to skip round him, and I think that Brighton have to really be aware of that, whether or not one of the midfield players, Caicedo, has to just edge up that right hand side of the pitch a little bit just to give him some cover and some support.
0-0, Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. And we should point out, shouldn't we, that Gross is nothing if not versatile. He's played in that position before, so it's not totally alien to him, as Caicedo just backs away. That was a classy touch from him there, just took a step back as the ball came to him. Obviously highly rated. Seemed at one stage, didn't it, that he might have been moving in January, and there was a little bit of friction there, but in the end ended up signing a new contract with Brighton. Stupinian on the left hand side, up towards the bobbing head of Mitoma, then back to McAllister and square to Caicedo. Caicedo strokes it out to the right hand side. Gross is there with March ahead of him, and Gross in the orange boots back to the captain, back to Webster, who takes the ball on into the Manchester United half and gives it to the right hand side to March, and left-footed cross into the penalty area. Wan-Bissaka allows it to go, puts his arms up wide and allows it to bounce across his chest and beyond the far post and behind for a goal kick. 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, that corner of the pitch there that Manchester United are defending, there's a fair bit of sunlight on there, John. As I'm looking at the players, I think when that cross comes in from the Brighton right-hand side, so the Manchester United left-back position, I think your visibility might not be great because the sun, is getting lower and lower, and it's quite bright on that corner of the pitch.
Yeah, it's a splendid scene to look at it, though. Just that quarter in sunshine of the pitch, and now the ball in the shadows at the other end with goalkeeper Robert Sanchez, who recently, before Steele's knock that he took, had been replaced by Jason Steele. Brighton with the ball in front of their own penalty area. Caicedo turns, nice, gives it to Estupinian, and Estupinian now making good ground into the Manchester United half. Challenge from Casemiro, but Mitoma is in action, and he has his heels clipped by Anthony right on the edge of the box as he was running across the white line from left to right, so outside the box, was caught, went sprawling down, and actually Anthony, I think referee's just going to give the free kick. That could easily have been a yellow card.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it looked too intentional. It's one of those where he's running across the back of the feet of Mitoma. He just steps across him almost with his shoulder and bumps him to the floor. He's a little bit lucky maybe not to get away with a yellow card, but lovely play from Brighton. Sucked the ball into the middle of the pitch. Caicedo saw the outlet and Estupinian wide and sprayed it out lovely with his left foot, and Brighton were on their way.
He was getting ready, wasn't he, Mitoma?
Yeah.
He does, cutting in from the left to hit it with his right foot. However, they've got a free kick in a good position, and it's going to be the World Cup winner, Alexis McAllister. 10 goals this season, joint top scorer for Brighton with Mitoma, and he is standing with one foot to the left of the ball, another behind it. He's got March there to his right if he wants to tap it short. But the wall, the four-man Manchester United wall, they've got the man lying down behind it as well. McAllister backs away now. This is where the bright sunshine is at Wembley. It's still 0-0, but a set-piece chance here. Could be March, probably McAllister. It is McAllister who goes for it, and De Gea to his left managed to claw it away round the post. That was curling in, I think.
Yeah, it was certainly on target. We're right along the line of that. Good save in the end from David De Gea, because he just has to deal with it. He chooses to go the goalkeeper side, McAllister, and he goes for pace and a little bit of dip as well. The ball moved in the air just over the wall, and De Gea with his right hand across his body just taps it wide. That is certainly going just inside the far post. Decent save, and he nearly missed it, John. It was nearly past him in a flash, wasn't it? Lots of pace on the ball,
but he didn't.
He didn't miss it. No, thankfully for him.
Corner from the right then. March takes it in, and it's cleared away at the near post by Bruno Fernandes, out for a throw to Brighton. So the corner comes to nothing. But he's nothing if not resilient, isn't he, David De Gea, with the various fluctuations in form that he's experienced over the years. And yes, he had a really poor night on Thursday, as did most of the Manchester United team, but he's already played the ball out from the back confidently. That looked like a foul throw by March on the far side. I think the Manchester United fans are pointing that out, but as ever, as so often, it's allowed to go, and it's out for another throw to Brighton.
He's well experienced in coming back from a mistake, David De Gea, isn't he? It's the one positive thing about making a few. You learn how to overcome them. He does do that well.
So it is still 0-0. 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. If you're out on this spring afternoon as well, remember you can listen to the live radio via BBC Sounds, or indeed rewind the live radio. Listen to the commentary again if you're a Brighton fan and it goes your way, but we don't know which way it's going to go at this early stage. 8 minutes on the clock. Throw in for Manchester United then, and then flicked on by Anthony. Bruno Fernandes is onto this. Nice touch with his right foot. Back out to Anthony on the left-hand side, who approaches the penalty area. Anthony's ball to the edge of the box. He was looking for the run of Bruno Fernandes, but it was right onto the head of McAllister, who was able to head it away.
McAllister in that defensive role, dropped almost into the back four there to deal with that one, but Manchester United a couple of times quick on the break.
De Gea, long pass from the back all the way through the middle to the goalkeeper at the other end, with Eriksen and Rashford sprinting after it.
There's a positive start, isn't it, from United? I have to say, they've really been on the front foot all over the pitch. Bruno Fernandes buzzing around the place that you normally do see him in that fashion, but they've been a little bit direct, knowing where the space is, trying to hurt Brighton in behind, not allowing Brighton to settle into their rhythm of being comfortable with the ball.
Flick on from Rashford. Martial still with the gloves on, comes all the way across to this side of the field, the Manchester United right, but as he took it back in field, he was dispossessed, and Brighton have got it back halfway inside their own territory. Eric Ten Hag and Roberto De Zerbi are standing down there, actually both of them out of the coaching area, just in front of the touchline on the pitch. And Brighton playing it forward, Mitoma on the left-hand side, Mitoma then back to Estupinian, and now back into central defence again to Lewis Dunk. Rolls the ball to his right to Webster. Webster right-footed pass. March, who's got space, so much space on the right. He had all the time to take that down, but then delayed the cross, and Anthony was able to scamper back, block the cross. Then he's missed the challenge. It's into the area now. March with Gross, and it bounces down, and Luke Shaw's able to come across from central defence, control, and play it out of play for a throw-in. So still 0-0 here at Wembley. Let's get an update from the Premiership match. Saracens against London Irish. Adam Whitting.
Saracens are going to secure first place in the Premiership. 2 second-half tries. We've seen them go well clear of London Irish. Their top 4 hopes have been dashed in the progress. Theo Dan and Ironi Mawi on his 50th appearance for Saracens have given them a 35-16 lead with 10 minutes to go.
So So more on that in due course. In the Super League, Salford beat Catalan by 16 points to 14. Two other matches going on. We'll give you some updates on that in a little while. Score updates: Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. 6:06 will be hot later, full of Tottenham fans after what happened at St James's Park earlier. So Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton will take your calls. But the ball's played forward from McAllister out to the left-hand side, but Estupinian allows it via a deflection to go out of play, and it's a throw-in, which he gets back, and he's running it back towards the halfway line, and then in with a challenge, Casemiro, and it bounces out of play, and Eric Ten Hag flicks it up, and via a deflection, in fact, it is Manchester United.
It's interesting, John, because almost to counteract the fact that Brighton are just going to play and pass out from the back, they go into midfield, 1 and 2 touch from centre-backs. You've got Martial, and then you've literally got 4 players in terms of Fernandes, Eriksen, Anthony and Marcus Rashford are all trying to press in that middle of the pitch, and 2 or 3 times now Brighton have managed to still find the pass. It's gone out wide 1 touch, and there's an ocean of space for either Estupinian or Pascal Gross to run into. So just shows you the bravery of Brighton, still willing to play even though so overloaded with 4 players really pressing high to win that ball back. They're still believing and comfortable enough to play through and get the ball wide, and when they do, they're in business.
That's Matthew Upson with us on 5 Live. Brighton on the move, and now a chance in the middle with a shot from the edge of the penalty area with his right foot from Enciso, who got a sight of goal just inside the area, controlled it with 1 foot, and then hit it as it dropped, but wide of the far post, the left post as he was looking at it, by maybe a yard.
He tried to be a little bit too clever with the finish. Lovely play. Pascal Gross finding the pass to the edge of the box. He has a touch and tries to bend it with the outside of his right boot into the far corner, whereas really that strike from last Saturday at Chelsea would have done, John, to be honest.
Yeah. Can't do it every week though, can you? What a goal that was. That was one of the goals of the season, wasn't it?
It was some strike, and there's
I suspect it would be goal of the month.
Yeah, it was a missile, wasn't it?
It was a brilliant strike, as they say. The ball is back with Sanchez, the goalkeeper, all in yellow, passing the ball out.
Press again, Manchester United all the way in. Brighton managing to find that pass, even though it's from Sanchez this time.
Now it's March in possession, with Gross having pushed all the way down the right side, but actually Brighton have come in field, since just disappeared for the time being, so the whole of Wembley now in shadow. Brighton 0, Manchester United 0, almost 15 minutes played. 1 save so far, that was David De Gea from the McAllister free kick. Now here is Estupinian playing in the number 10 position, but number 20 on his back, and as he was challenged, he's actually adjudged to have committed a foul on Marcus Rashford, and it's a free kick to Manchester United inside their own half. So Martial, it didn't look too promising, did it, the other night when he limped off in the second half, Anthony Martial, as Manchester United take the free kick and lose possession. And now Welbeck trying to play it through the middle from 30 yards, but that was intercepted on the edge of the box. Manchester United played up to Anthony. Anthony now running at Dunk, and now cutting back onto his left foot. So Manchester United start again, and then Eriksen, and then the shot from Bruno Fernandes on the edge of the area, but Sanchez goes down to his left, was close enough to it, and was able to parry it away.
Good save from Sanchez. I think it was relatively close to him, but what I like, he gets a really strong parry on it. Could easily mess that up and just parry it into the bodies and somebody running on, but he gets such great hands on it, pushes it almost wide and out of the 18-yard box. But Manchester United, they're really utilising the wide areas, and they're just trying to isolate Dunk and Webster, aren't they? 1v1 with either Anthony or Martial, just trying to expose anything, being much more direct, Manchester United, in that area of the pitch.
Brighton 0, Manchester United 0, so now the Brighton goalkeeper's made his first save. I reminded myself this morning that I watched Robert Sanchez playing against Manchester United for Rochdale a few seasons ago in the Carabao Cup, and it ended up going to a penalty shootout that Rochdale lost on penalty, so he's been involved in a penalty shootout against Manchester United before, for poor old Rochdale, who were relegated yesterday, as I'm sure you'll know. Gross carrying the ball to the edge of the area, playing the ball to March. Gross has continued his run into the box. Gross pulls it back, Welbeck with a shot, that's deflected, and then arriving Estupinian, who rather snatched at it. It was a crowded penalty area, and his shot flew over the top of the bar by a couple of yards probably.
Well, great running from Pascal Gross to go on the inside of Solly March, runs off the back of Christian Eriksen, gets to the byline and just finds the pass really really good cut back into the box, ball ricocheting about, and then I think Matoma just takes it off the toe of Estupiñán as he's arriving. He's in a better position, Estupiñán, to get a strike on goal, but Brighton just carving Manchester United open there. Lovely play from that wide area, and again John getting out in that right back position, sucking the ball, lots of players central, and then spinning it out wide, one touch from midfield as quick as they can, and there's an ocean of space out there.
Yes, I think you're right. I think you would have been better to leave it to Estupiñán.
Yeah.
Manchester United. Here's Fernandes in the area, but a good block, a very good block from Dunk. I thought he was past him there, Fernandes. However, still going. Fernandes in a busy penalty area, bounces down. Matoma gets a touch to pass it back to Estupiñán, and then it's out of play. McAllister couldn't keep it in, and it's a throw in 10 yards back from the corner flag for Manchester United.
Plenty of goal-mouth action at the moment. It's a good game. Both teams showing good attacking talent, really trying to expose the opposition in the areas that they feel they're weakest. Both teams getting success in wide areas.
I was just waiting there because I saw referee Pawson reach up to his shoulder, and whenever you see a referee do something like that, you think, oh, hang on a minute, has VAR spotted something? But actually I think he was just scratching his shoulder. So it is 0-0, and now here's March, who's carrying the ball forward and cutting infield and then playing it across, but Anthony's going to get there first. He was under pressure. Actually, March is saying he thought he was fouled when he was being put under pressure, but the referee's having none of that, and Casemiro is just having a chat with Craig Pawson, and the ball's out of play for a throw.
Yeah, I think Solly March was just complaining that Casemiro caught him as he was falling, but there was nothing in that. It might have felt bad, but I think it was a fair enough challenge from Casemiro.
We've mentioned Gross playing as the right back, but of course Manchester United have got a man playing effectively out of position as well, with Luke Shaw in central defence, but rather like Gross, Shaw has played there on a number of occasions.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big ask, especially with Darlow at left back as well, isn't it? He's an area of the pitch where Brighton are looking to really double up with Pascal Gross and Solly March on that right hand side, really combining well.
But so far Luke Shaw has looked very relaxed actually and comfortable in that position.
He does well in that role, John. I have to say, like, it's almost tactically, he goes in really tight, so he'll go all the way in.
Well, he's a player who has found his best form certainly under Erik ten Hag this season, and he goes now, actually puts a challenge in on Enciso, but Enciso's strong there for the teenager and took it away from Shaw, but Shaw recovered extremely well and was able to face him up again on the edge of the penalty area, and then Fernandes with a challenge on Caicedo, and eventually the ball rings out of play of Gross for a throw into Manchester United halfway inside their own half. Remains 0-0 here at Wembley, and so we'll go back to Saracens London Irish and Adam Whitty.
Party time for Saracens. They're 45-16 up, and Ronnie Mari, with his second try on his 50th appearance for the club, has sealed the deal completely. They are having fun and going top and finishing of the Premiership. 45-16 Saracens lead with 90 seconds to go.
And in the Super League, Hull FC 20, Huddersfield 14 and Wigan 22, Wakefield 6 are the latest scores after the narrow win for Salford earlier. And they are the full-time scores in those two Super League matches. So full-time scores, whistles have gone, and it is France 34, Wales 14 in the Six Nations, and that match, the commentary is on Sports Extra right now. It's a simulcast with Radio Wales, but you can hear that on digital radio and via sound. So France on the way to victory, and will still be on for the Grand Slam. We've got a stoppage here at Wembley while you've been listening to all of that, and Manchester United, there are a few concerns actually.
It took a long time to get treatment onto the pitch for Solly March. I think the referee was deliberating as to whether it was necessary or not. Well, Solly March had been down on the floor for quite a period of time. He's not happy with his right ankle, just kind of caught it in the turf. He tried to get his body across to let the ball run across him, and his studs got caught, and he's really jarred his right ankle. And they haven't got, that's the one thing with Brighton at the moment, you look at the injury list, Veltman not quite fit to play a lion's share of the game. Ferguson, Lamptey, who probably would be playing today if he was fit. Lallana, Sarmiento is back on the bench. No, he's not back on the bench. No. So they haven't got the depth, have they, to bring on if a player like Solly March or Danny Welbeck has a problem. They're starting to run a little bit thin.
Well, March also, as well as jarring his foot, a defender came in at the same time and also caught him.
Yeah.
So lengthy treatment, but he's running back onto the field now. Solly March. Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. And foul on Enciso, who went to ground, and then Casemiro kind of accidentally, on purpose, sort of stumbled over him while he was on the ground.
I think that was genuine, John, actually.
Do you?
Yeah, he wasn't looking where he's going, just walking backwards. Just stamp on someone accidentally, can't you?
Anyway,
by mistake.
Anyway, Casemiro, the great Casemiro, up against this young shaver, has just said, I'll just put you back in your place.
Stop buzzing round the place.
0-0. Here's Matoma on the left-hand side. Matoma up against Wan-Bissaka. That'll be a good contest as well. Ball played infield towards Welbeck, and then there's a foul on Bruno Fernandes, who was caught. I mean, Welbeck absolutely haired into the challenge, and Bruno Fernandes is not very happy about that, and is taking his time to get up. Danny Welbeck extends the hand of friendship and gives him the opportunity to be hauled to his feet, but Bruno Fernandes gives up on that and is now tying his laces.
It's not like him to make a fuss either, is it, John, to be fair?
Full time now in the Saracens London Irish match. Adam.
And Saracens have thrashed London Irish 45-21 to confirm top place in the Premiership after a convincing win at London Irish that kills off their playoff chances. So we know our top four, John. Saracens and Sale joined by Leicester and Northampton for the semi-finals in May. Full time Saracens 45, London Irish 21.
So Brighton 0, Manchester United 0 in the FA Cup semi-finals. Still waiting for the opening goal. Only two big chances so far. Two saves made. One by De Gea from the McAllister free kick, and at the other end Sanchez keeping out the shot from Bruno Fernandes. And now the referee's blown his whistle because a Manchester United man has gone down near the centre circle.
Is it Fernandes?
Bruno Fernandes. And whether there's a collision off the ball or what has happened. I mean, Bruno Fernandes just recently was down and after taking a knock, and the medical people are on, and he limped away from a challenge. We've just been shown it again on McAllister, and he just sort of
his ankle again. Similar to Solly March, isn't it? Yeah. Foot in the turf, stretching for the ball, and almost the studs go in, and the leg isn't quite ready for that contact with the turf, and it just kind of jars the ankle. Both Solly March and this one very similar, and he's laying on the floor getting treatment at the moment and looks in a considerable discomfort, John, it has to be said.
Well, March was able to continue, but Bruno Fernandes, this could be a problem. And if they lose Bruno Fernandes, remember they didn't have him the other night, a rare match this season when Bruno Fernandes wasn't able to take part because he was suspended, and look what happened in Seville without him. He is a very, very important cog in Eric Ten Hag's Manchester United. So Brighton 0, Manchester United remains the score. Fernandes is on his feet and he's going to be walked off the field. So we have a moment or two to get an update on Aberdeen Rangers, which also started at 4:30 in the Premiership. Ready for side?
And that's why we're 25 minutes into it here at a rather icy Pittodrie, in contrast to your conditions at Wembley. It's still scoreless here, but it's not for want of trying by Rangers. John Sutter with Aberdeen howling for a penalty early on after what they thought was a foul on Duke, but there was no VAR review. Then Leighton Clarkson off the line from an Alfredo Morelos twisting shot. Roos blocking when Sakala went 1-1 against the Dons keeper. And then just a few seconds ago, Barisic's ramming one off the post, but it went wide, and that's why now with 26 minutes gone, it's still Aberdeen 0, Rangers 0.
Thank you, Roddy. If it's icy in Aberdeen, I hope Roddy's got his Anthony Martial gloves with him.
I was going to say, perhaps he thought the game was in Aberdeen. Anthony Martial. Perhaps he thought they were playing up there today.
Maybe he did. Yeah, I know one or two people whose geography is not very good. Bruno Fernandes is just coming back onto the field, and now another Manchester United. The play's only just got underway. Bruno Fernandes has walked on, and now Rashford is lying on his back over on the far side, but I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of contact with Pascal Gross. It's almost like hip to hip, just bumps him in the side. But Brighton, looking at the possession stats, controlling possession, double the amount of passes as Manchester United at the moment. But the game's getting very scrappy. Lots of these breakages in play, just spoiling the rhythm a little bit.
Yeah, and after all of that promise early on in the match, it's all been broken up. Rashford's okay, didn't need treatment. Bruno Fernandes seems to be all right as well, so that's double good news for Manchester United, as Caicedo might have been caught by Bruno Fernandes. He stayed down, but he's just climbing to his feet now, and Brighton get it moving again over on the far side. Comes back to Webster, 10 yards inside the Brighton half, and across to Dunk, the captain, who I know you feel has had a very impressive season. Lewis Dunk, Webster playing it down the right hand side. Gross gets it down. Gross is high cross to the back post. Mitoma chests it down, brings it right down, and then couldn't feed it across the box. It was blocked by Wan-Bissaka, and then Wan-Bissaka gets a touch in to take it away from Manchester United. But Brighton are quickly back in position. Pass forward towards Bruno Fernandes, but across comes the aforementioned Dunk to slide in and put it out of play.
I mean, how many times is Pascal Gross going to receive the ball on that far side in an ocean of space? Literally, it's happened 5 times in this first half already. Something that Manchester United have to get to grips with, because he's just travelling with the ball and there's nobody going out to pressure him. He can just get his head up, and he's got the quality to deliver anywhere on the pitch. And okay, they haven't looked like much of a goal threat at the moment, Brighton. They've just been lacking that little bit of killer instinct in that final third, but they're certainly building up to something.
Careless pass from Casemiro, that's out of play. It's a throwing to Brighton. Correction, by the way, it is County Championship cricket commentary that's on Sports Extra right now, and it is the final round of the current matches. Kent and Essex has ended in a draw. Brighton playing it forward, but that will just bounce harmlessly through to David De Gea. And in Division 2, Sussex against Yorkshire and Worcestershire against Gloucestershire have also both ended in draws. Every match all through the summer from the County Championship is live commentary via the BBC Sport website and app. Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. So, Anthony playing the ball back under pressure from Estupinian to Lindelof, playing as the right-sided central defender in the absence today of the suspended Maguire. Dunk, nice footwork from him away from Bruno Fernandes, and then Alexis McAllister long and forward down the right. March catches up with it near the dead ball line, and then his cross is blocked and deflected behind by Gallo for a Brighton corner.
Another attack down that right hand side space there. Solly March into it, opts to try and cross the ball. Darlow actually puts himself in a really good position to stop that cross going into the box. I think it was Enciso just pulled on to the corner of that in-yard box, maybe in a better position just to cut the ball back to, but Brighton just getting their heads up and looking to clip that ball into that left-back position of Manchester United at the moment, and every time there's either Solly March or Pascal Gross in open space.
Almost half an hour played, still goalless. In the corner for Brighton, out swinger taken by Gross. Dunk was after it, it was headed out. Estupinian gets it down, plays it to Mitoma in the box on the left hand side. Mitoma is forced out of the penalty area. Gallows chased him all the way over there, and then Estupinian with a cross into the area. That's cleared away by Luke Shaw near the penalty spot. He just side-footed it away, and the ball rolled out actually into the hands of Roberto De Zerbi, the 43-year-old Brighton and Hove Albion head coach, since taking over from Graham Potter in September. Appointed 10 days after Graham Potter moved on to Chelsea, and what an impact he's had, continuing the upward curve that Brighton enjoyed under their former manager. Here now Gross on the right hand side, little ball in towards Welbeck, out of the penalty area, then Caicedo, low ball, Welbeck back to Caicedo again, square from him to McAllister, and now Estupinian manages to thread it through for Mitoma, stretches, plays it right across the penalty area, cut it back at pace, and it was into the path of Gallo. He wasn't able to control the ball across, and the pass was cleared away by Gallo, and now a free kick for a foul on Bruno Fernandes, who feels that there are too many fouls coming his way, judging by that reaction from him. But it's a free kick to Manchester United.
Clever, clumsy foul from Pascal Gross, because it's just not enough for the referee to get his yellow card out, but it was cynical, broke up the play. Manchester United just breaking out after that brilliant Brighton attack with a lovely weighted pass from Estupinian with his left foot, plays it inside Wan-Bissaka, but the weight is perfect for Matoma, and he just cuts the ball back across the face of the goal with his left foot, but no Brighton player in that area just for a tap in.
It's very evenly poised, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. When you look at the balance of the attack of both teams, Manchester United haven't had as much of the ball, but they've looked like they've got a bit of edge if they do come forward and they expose Brighton in wide areas, and likewise with Brighton as well. So very well balanced at the moment.
Yes, it is. And here now, the ball played forward by Enciso to Mitoma, who could send it, might open up for him, but it bounces to Enciso, who shoots wide from inside the D. But Wan-Bissaka actually put the challenge in on Mitoma. He sprinted after Mitoma, who I think was on the point of shooting, but Wan-Bissaka put in the challenge, and the ball bounced across to Enciso, who shot low and wide.
Yeah, I think it even pulled the trigger there. Mitoma is winding that right leg up just to smash this ball after cutting inside. I mean, he drives so well with the ball. He's got a lovely turn of pace, but brilliant tackle from Wan-Bissaka. And when he falls over, I think he really puts off Enciso as well. He just kind of throws himself across the face of the path of the ball. Really good defended, committed stuff from Wan-Bissaka.
That was excellent.
It was, yeah. Really good play. Trapped him all the way. You have to with Mitoma. You can't just leave him to come inside because he'll really hurt you. You have to go with him.
It's a real indication, isn't it, that Erik ten Hag, Wan-Bissaka, they know that the role that he has to play today against the dangerous Mitoma. And as Manchester United come forward, they win a free kick, foul on Martial. This is out towards the left-hand side. I was just thinking that, Carabao Cup final when Manchester United were here 57 days ago, round about this time that suddenly Manchester United scored their opening goals from a free kick out over there, actually, wasn't it, where they had the free kick and Casemiro headed it in.
That's right.
Rashford scored 6 minutes later, and that effectively won the cup final for them. So let's keep an eye on Casemiro here. Free kick out on the left, the Bruno Fernandes and Luke Shaw are over, either the in-swinger or the out-swinger. Raised arms, Eriksson takes it, but it's headed up and away by Welbeck, back defending his own penalty area, then across from Anthony, but far too close to goalkeeper Sanchez. Just drifted into his arms and he caught it. So it is still 0-0. No opening goal from a free kick for Manchester United at Wembley in that instant. Estupinian, left back from Ecuador, another of their South American finds. And then back it comes to good old Sussex himself, Lewis Dunk. I did very much enjoy the pre-match rendition of Sussex by the Sea inside Wembley Stadium, which is always a rousing moment at Brighton's home ground. Today we got the chance to hear 30-odd thousand Brighton fans sing it inside Wembley Stadium.
I could picture you on a deck chair, John.
Could you? At the county ground in Hull.
White handkerchief, trousers rolled up.
Well, somebody should mention that Magnus are playing at the county ground in Hull this summer, which was Friday's fact of the day. You've set that up brilliantly.
Teed it up lovely.
So there we are, duly delivered. And it is Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. I had been wondering how I was going to get that in, but you've done a great job, mate. So goal kick that is going to be taken by De Gea with 10 minutes to go to half-time. Match of few chances so far. Did have a bit of a feeling that this might go beyond the 90-minute mark. De Gea, I did. Yeah. De Gea strikes this long downfield but over the top of Anthony and Estupinian and bounces through to Sanchez.
I think both teams looking like they're lacking a goal scorer at the moment. Just somebody in the box. Just, you look at Ferguson being out for Brighton. Martial's playing down the middle today for Manchester United, who's very hit and miss. A lot of good play, a lot of really good football coming out for the back.
And here's an example of that lovely shimmy from Caicedo, bringing it away and then passing the ball to Estupinian, who strikes it into Wan-Bissaka and it bounces back past him and out of play for a throw-in. Erik ten Hag is actually wearing a coat. It has been rainy this afternoon here in northwest London before the sun came out. Back to Sanchez, who passes it out to Lewis Dunk, tall figure, angular, with the ball stationary at his feet. Martial comes across, a little pass forward towards McAllister, playing in a slightly deeper role, Alexis McAllister, because of the shift around. Veltman on the bench and draws it right back. Pass forward from Dunk, but that was easily cut out by Wan-Bissaka, who gives it to Anthony. Anthony now off and running down the right hand side, but Matoma tackling back, and on the ground Anthony tried to tackle McAllister, and then that's a foul by Casemiro on McAllister, and the Brighton fans are enraged by that. Casemiro walks away, and then a yellow card comes out for him as referee Paulson walks past him. Casemiro with his head down, looking for all the world as though he wasn't expecting anything to produce from the referee's pocket, and then he wags his finger at the referee, but it was a challenge from behind.
It was. He kicks through McAllister to win the ball. He does win the ball, but for me this is a tackle of frustration, really. He's not managed to get on the ball a lot at all, Casemiro. They've not had too much joy in the middle of the park, and Brighton just dominating proceedings in there. And after Matoma had just made a brilliant recovery tackle, I mean, for how good he is going forwards and how attacking he is, his work rate to get back there and support his left back was absolutely brilliant from Matoma, and Casemiro just went a step too far, picked up his yellow card.
Erik ten Hag is not very happy with that. They feel, and I noticed his assistant as well, Mitchell van der Gaag, was there as well, the two of them with the fourth official, Robert Jones. Full time in the Six Nations, France 39, Wales 14, so France will indeed be on for a grand slam, the decider against England next weekend.
They can't have any complaints on the yellow card, John, surely. I mean, it was pretty clear cut, wasn't it? It's gone to ground and kicked through the leg of McAllister to win the ball. And for me, that was quite a dangerous tackle.
And Seesaw plays the ball forward on the right hand side, comes back to him, and now Gross is there as well. March too, he uses March, who seems okay after his early problem. March playing it across, McAllister controlled the ball, but it bounced up, and then Webster is in from behind on Martial, and that's a free kick, and you can hear the Manchester United fans now inside the ground after Casemiro was yellow carded. They feel that should be a yellow for Webster.
It's not the same tackle, nowhere near the same tackle. Webster goes for the ball, but Anthony Martial does really well because he's on the move and he comes across from almost behind to the side of Webster, and he nicks the ball. Webster can't see him. Yes, he makes contact. He does kick him a little bit, but it's not, it's not like he's gone to ground and kicked through his leg intentionally. It's a foul, but nothing more than that for me. And it's just Manchester United and Bruno Fernandes now, as he loves to do, loves to get in the face of the referee and start to try and sway the game and make these complaints all the time, but that wasn't the same kind of tackle as the Casemiro one.
No, well, he is the captain in the absence of Harry Maguire, so I suppose he is entitled to make his point to the referee, but referee Pawson wasn't for budging on that one, and it was only a free kick for Manchester United, and as well Erik ten Hag has continued to make his point to Robert Jones, the fourth official. Still 0-0. It's been quite bitty actually over the course of the last 20 minutes or so. Here's Wan-Bissaka now down the right hand side for Manchester United. 7 minutes to go to half time. Infield, Anthony is there. Anthony, who did score and set up a goal at Nottingham Forest last Sunday afternoon, remember. Wan-Bissaka now back to Casemiro, out to the right hand side to Bruno Fernandes, controls it up against Estepinian, and Estepinian comes out with the ball. Bruno Fernandes goes down with his hands on his face, and then Casemiro comes across and tackles the ball away from Estepinian and out for a throw. And the Brighton fans, it is down in the Brighton left back position. That's where Bruno Fernandes is sitting on the pitch, and now hundreds, possibly thousands of Brighton fans are on their feet, shouting and waving their arms at Bruno Fernandes. He's not reacting.
I mean, come on. He's just upset he's lost the ball, isn't he? I can't see anything that's happened there with Estepinian. That's a problem. He's gone down holding his face, and now embarrassingly he's got up and he's absolutely fine.
Still Aberdeen 0, Rangers 0. As Manchester United win the ball back inside the Brighton half. Here's Eriksson playing it back into his own territory. Lindelof comes across. Well, that was a heady touch, and actually it's forced him to take the ball on into the Brighton half and giving it to the left hand side to Dalot. Dalot does well, rides a challenge, takes it on past Caicedo, left-footed cross. The recovering Caicedo put out a foot and blocked the ball behind for a corner to Manchester United, which is their first.
Dalot showing his attacking quality, which, let's face it, he does have that as a full-back. He's got a nice bit of power and pace, and he can go past people. And Moises Caicedo doing the job he does so well defensively, gets out to the full-back position and helps out and gets a really good block in.
So first corner for Manchester United. Eriksen to take this, steps away across the perfectly manicured and rolled off-pitch area, the apron here at Wembley Stadium. So lots of movement in the box. Eriksen strikes it cleanly, way to the back post. Lindelof challenging, but he was beaten in the air. Estupinian, and now Brighton break. Mitoma plays it into the path of March, but actually across him. So March had to turn to his right and then get it back into central defence again. Earlier, it finished remarkable games. Newcastle 6, Tottenham 1, and it was 5-0 after 21 minutes. And we're going to hear from Christian Stellini at half-time in this match on how he can possibly account for that, so don't miss that. Spurs are now 6 points behind Newcastle and Manchester United for that matter, as Enciso is fouled just forward of the centre circle, so a free kick to Brighton. And also Bournemouth 0, West Ham 4, and we're going to hear from David Moyes as well. West Ham now 34 points and getting very close to safety, and that was a very good result for West Ham after their European semi-final on Thursday night. Also Sunderland winning 2-1 at West Brom, so Sunderland are now up into the playoff positions in 6th place. So 6 or 6 to talk about that later, all of that with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. Also Wolfsburg 2, Arsenal 2, it finished in the first leg of the Champions League semi-final as Brighton played back to the edge of the penalty area. So Stellini and Moyes coming up in the next 10 minutes or so, but the last knockings of the first half still to be played out. And it has, after a good flow to the early stages of the match, it's become a little bit stodgy as the ball is played forward. Lindelof is chasing this, just gets there ahead of Mitoma, is able to pass it back to De Gea, who clears it out, and it hits Casemiro, knocks him off his feet, bounces back to the edge of the penalty area where Luke Shaw just puts his left foot through it, sends it high over the centre circle. It drops now, sent back by Brighton, comes off Casemiro's head. Lindelof plays it forward. Eriksen now under pressure, he's passed it straight to Gross, and Brighton have got it inside their own half. Brighton in good form, as you'll know, coming into this match, having lost only 1 of their last 9 matches in all competitions, and that was that controversial defeat at Tottenham. And so they are confident, trying to play on what might be a little uncertainty after Manchester United's performance in Spain on Thursday night. Casemiro heading the ball down. Now Eriksen stabs it forward, but Brighton have got it with Dunk.
Yeah, they've spoilt their rhythm a little bit. Manchester United are doing it really well, not allowing Brighton to get that free-flowing football. They're trying, they're working really hard. Lewis Dunk, Adam Webster, Caicedo, McAllister trying to have the ball, trying to draw those players in, then get it wide, and then they've lacked a little bit of quality for me in the front four in terms of the link-up, and Ciso linking with Welbeck, and normally you see McAllister and players really providing great little 1-2s, balls around the corner and opening teams up.
All ball bounces back to Manchester United. Fernandes is in, and he drags his shot across the face of goal. He was on the twist as he hit it, a slight angle trying to play it back across goal into the bottom corner, and he just got it wrong and hit the shot wide.
Well, he just drags it, doesn't he? What a chance. Just opened up. Ball into him on his right foot as well. You fully expect him to hit the target. I think Martial is having a little bit of a pop at him for not really crashing that ball to the far post and crossing it instead. If he's...
Well, he had to shoot.
Yeah, he had to shoot really with the angle. But he doesn't strike it particularly cleanly, John, does he? It's not a good hit from Bruno Fernandes.
We've seen a great deal of Martial or Rashford, have we? Who were both... Well, certainly Martial was a doubt for this match. Marcus Rashford came on as a substitute in Seville, having missed the 2 matches before that. His ball's played back to De Gea, and De Gea now with his right foot over the top of Anthony. And out of play, cheers from Brighton, and it's a throw-in on the halfway line, and Robert Jones is just picking up his big electronic board. A chap walks past me here who looks as though he's just flown in from Oslo, and here is Dunk carrying the ball towards the halfway line. And 3 minutes of added time. We have had a number of stoppages Might have been more. Oh, Brighton have given it away. Martial goes for goal from 25 yards, but it drifts away and floats away. Actually, Dunk's pass, I think it hit, was it Caicedo?
Yeah.
And bounced back to Martial, who went for goal with Sanchez well off his line.
That's poorly executed finish from Martial. It was on. If he got the weight of the little dink right, but he massively overhits this chip. And you're going to get these with Brighton. They're going to keep trying to play out. There will be the odd mistake, and Manchester United have to be ready to pounce on it.
McAllister goes for a long pass inside his own half, backing away March, was twisting. It's a little bit like watching an outfielder at the county ground in Sussex underneath a steepling catch, and he was just twisting and turning, and all he could do was head it back in field. And Manchester United are back in possession, but Casemiro's been fouled. Cheers from the Manchester United fans, and actually because they feel that Casemiro's not been getting anything, and he has been yellow carded, but that's a free kick to Manchester United.
It certainly was a free kick. I just looked at the shots on target, one each. Says a lot about this game so far, doesn't it? A lot of hustle and bustle, like you say, some good play, some good defensive play. Not enough attacking quality, not enough good goal-mouth meaningful action in this game so far.
Cup final place at stake on June the 3rd. Brighton have never won the FA Cup. Ericsson with a long pass that bounces to the left side of the penalty area to Rashford. Rashford gets it down, plays it back. Ericsson arriving, shoots, and it's kicked away by Sanchez, the goalkeeper. It was more or less straight at him, and he kicked it away out of play. Well, it's a save.
Yeah, important save, and improvise how you need to. It was low, it was straight at him. The safer option just to put a side foot on it and clear the ball up in the air, but it was a lovely pass from Ericsson outside of his right boot. It's almost like on the volley, just dips it over the top of Pascal Gross. It bounces and Rashford is then in.
Very unusual, but it's done the trick. Still 0-0. Casemiro now approaching the penalty area. Martial plays it short on the chase, but couldn't get there, and the ball runs away behind, and it is a goal kick. Luke Shaw running into the position roundabout from where he scored that opening goal in the Euros final back in 2021, but couldn't reach the ball this time, and it's through for a goal kick. It's still 0-0. And is it half time with you, Ruddy Forsyth at Pittodrie?
Yes, it is. We're just ahead of you. It's scoreless here. Aberdeen have defended desperately. A header off the line by Clarkson from Morelos. Sakala blocking, Roos blocking against Sakala when 1-on-1. Barisic striking off the post, but it's still scoreless despite the fact Rangers have completed 262 passes and Aberdeen only 29.
That's domination. Brighton coming forward, cross from the left hand side from Estupiñán, but that was headed away by Lindelof. Bounces back, March with a cross, but the whistle went just as March was looking to play the ball into the penalty area. So it is 0-0 at half time. There's just been another result in the county championship. Somerset and Lancashire has ended in a draw, and it's a draw here at half time, Matt Upson.
Yeah, it is a draw, and it's rightly so, because the quality going forward hasn't been good enough in the final third. I think both teams are a little bit unsettled. Brighton certainly the lion's share of possession, but not really creating enough. They're missing that link that you normally see with McAllister into the front and the wide players, and those little quick, sharp passes and triangles haven't been any in this game. Credit to Manchester United. I think they've defended very well, and they've got a good game plan to win this game. But it's a little bit, shall we say, fractured in terms of the quality, a little bit too much hustle and bustle and not enough quality in this game at the moment.
Yeah, I think that sums it up very well. Remarkable how quickly people have vacated their seats and have headed, presumably the outlets here at Wembley Stadium will be doing a roaring trade at half time, but we could do with a goal or two. Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. Yes, out sprint the players of Brighton and Hove Albion, and now here come Manchester United as well, led by Bruno Fernandes. Boos from the Brighton fans to our right, who thousands and thousands of people still retaking their seats. Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. Don't see any imminent changes. So the teams as they started the match: Brighton with Sanchez in goal, a back four of Gross, Webster, Dunk and Estupiñán, then McAllister and Caicedo, and Ciso is playing as the number 10, March on the right, Matoma on the left, and Danny Welbeck up front with Evan Ferguson out injured, and Manchester United with De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Luke Shaw in central defence, and Gallo playing as left back as he did in the Premier League last weekend. Casemiro and Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes in the middle, Anthony on the right, Rashford on the left, he's not really had a sight of goal yet, and Anthony Martial playing through the middle. So off we go. Manchester United kick off in the second half. Still many people haven't retaken their seats. I can see all around the three tiers of Wembley Stadium, red seats or slightly sun-faded pinkish seats are empty, but they'll be full again soon. You know, the match in terms of a spectacle did tail off in the latter part of the first half, and it is 0-0. If it was 3-3, maybe they'd be back in their seats, but Manchester United playing the ball back to De Gea. The Brighton fans trying to get onto him. De Gea defending the Brighton end to our right, so a horseshoe of Brighton fans around David De Gea, well aware of the difficulties that he had on Thursday night in Spain. Brighton come forward again after Manchester United from that goal kick lose possession. March is getting his shirt pulled by Gallo. We could clearly see it as he was running away from our position here. Brighton go back to the halfway line to Webster, who puts his foot on it and then looks up, and it's back to Dunk in the centre circle. Webster again rolls it to the right. March comes short, chased by Gallo. March is able to play it up through the middle to Enciso. Also Gross challenging for it, but it bounces down and Manchester United could break away. It's Anthony against Dunk. Anthony taking on Dunk into the penalty area, playing it across right-footed, but it rattles around inside the box. It wasn't cleared by Webster, not properly, and Brighton a little fortunate there that it bounced for them. Matt Upson.
Yeah, very fortunate, but super composure once the ball did pop back to Adam Webster just to play out, but just shows you how quickly Manchester United can just counter-attack. If Brighton's passing falls down in that attacking area, they just get the ball forward quickly, and they've got players like Anthony, Rashford, really pacey, running at Dunk there, trying to drive him into his own 18-yard box, really put him on the back foot, and he certainly did that well, crossed the ball into the box, and Adam Webster was in a good position just to deal with it, but really good counter-attack for Manchester United.
Yeah, and Dunk had a real challenge on his hands there, but he was up to it. England international, just the one cap, as Anthony loses out on the halfway line, and Brighton come forward. Mitchellman makes a run, but Estepinian delayed his ball out to the right-hand side, chested down by March, edge of the area, beats Eriksen. March now to Gross. Gross low ball across, that rattles around inside the penalty area. March has got it back. March, it's very tight in there. Change of feet, and then he falls over, and Manchester United clear it.
I mean, was there an opportunity for Solly March to have a shot there with his right foot? It kind of shifted it onto the right-hand side, opted to pass it wide, but I thought there was a shot on there, just a quick snapshot, only from about 12 yards out.
Going to Todri in a moment, but Brighton coming forward, still 0-0 in this Emirates FA Cup semi-final for the right to take on Manchester City in the final. Brighton played through the middle to Enciso. Enciso can't find a way through, cleared by Gallo, comes back at Manchester United again, with it on the right-hand side. March now passes it beyond Eriksen, edge of the penalty area. Welbeck bounces back to Caicedo, 20 yards out, then Estepinian dummies to shoot, in comes the challenge, that takes it away. Brighton come again, played it towards McAllister, who turns it to the right-hand side, and now it's with March. March is up against Gallo in the left full-back position. The sun comes out again at Wembley. He takes him on, gets the cross in off his shins, bounces behind, corner to Brighton. So to Aberdeen, ready for save.
Aberdeen 1, Rangers 0. Liam Scales with a sensational goal for the home side. He was pinned against the touchline. I don't believe he could have attempted to score, but he got rid of the ball 40 yards and it went over the head of Alan McGregor into the far corner of the net. Aberdeen 1, Rangers 0.
So the opening goal of Todri, still waiting for the first one here at Wembley. Corner from the right. Brighton fans bobbing blue and white balloons around in their section, holding their breath here to see if Brighton can take the lead. Corner from March, left-footed. A very deep one towards the back post, but Dunk steers back to the edge of the penalty area. Estepinian took it around Eriksen and then wildly with his left foot hit a shot that landed halfway up those Brighton fans in the lower tier.
It was a training ground routine, was it straight to the back post, and Estepinian had a good first touch just to cushion it, but really lashed with his left foot, and the ball nearly carrying out the ground. It was a really wild strike from him.
Yes, it ended up bobbing around just like the beach balls and the balloons in the Brighton section. David De Gea with the ball in his hands after it came back to him from an attempted quick clearance. Estupinian, ball over the top, over the halfway line. It's headed forward by Lindelof. Here is Rashford now, nimbly gets there first. Manchester United's 28th goal top scorer, but just one in his last 5 appearances. It's just dried up a little for him, and he's not really been able to get into the match. Marcus Rashford, long ball downfield from De Gea, that takes a deflection out of play for a throw into Brighton 10 yards inside their own territory. So Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. 5 Live and the World Service, but the lines are open now for the 606 phone in on 5 Live. So Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton, I suspect they will do very good business tonight with Tottenham fans presumably on the way home or on the way back from Tyneside, desperate to talk about what happened there. 08 085 909 693. If you're a Tottenham fan, you know, to have your chance to say what you feel should happen next at Spurs. Brighton with the ball, with Dunk, and then to the right hand side to Webster it goes, and Webster, low pass, still inside their own half to March. Caicedo was fouled by Martial, and that's a free kick. Roberto De Zerbi is quite animated down there. He's been sent off twice already this season, but actually it's Erik ten Hag who's been the more animated of the two coaches so far, with one or two of the decisions in the first half.
De Zerbi certainly a passionate manager. The way he communicates, his body language, and like you say, he's not shy of getting involved down on the touchline. But Brighton just slowing down a little bit. They started this game with a little bit more purpose, didn't they? A bit more positivity and aggression with the way they played. Really penned Manchester United into their own box for a minute or two.
De Gea passing it out to Shaw, who had men on him, but he was able to keep it and find the pass to Dalot under pressure, but it's been nicked back by Caicedo, and that's he's round Shaw and he's tugged back 10 yards, 15 yards inside the Manchester United half. He was away, he beat Luke Shaw, tugged him back. Yellow card for the Manchester United central defender as he is today.
Caicedo razor sharp in that situation, read it brilliantly, stole in, nicked the ball off Darlow, and then shifted it around the other side of Luke Shaw. He goes around the other side of Casemiro when he takes the ball, and then just drags it across. A really cynical foul from Luke Shaw. He had to stop him in his tracks, but I mean, he's everywhere, Caicedo, isn't he? He just gets all over the pitch and does a brilliant job there, breaking the play up and then driving forwards.
Free kick, Gross to take this. Deep to the back post, it's headed away, then nodded forward inside the penalty area, and Cisso's after it. Manchester United struggling to clear, but it bounces into the path of Lindelof, who is able to play it away, pass it away out of the penalty area. Overcast now here in northwest London, in the National Stadium, Wembley Stadium, which celebrates its centenary later this month on the 28th of April, 100 years since the stadium opened. First FA Cup final here back in 1923. There'll be many celebrations and commemorations of that over the coming weeks as we head towards this FA Cup final. Ball played forward for Welbeck to chase into the penalty area, but Lindelof stabbed it out of play for a throw down the right.
It's just a little piece of quality again there, and Ciso this time, lovely play from Brighton, round the corner into him. He's just got to get the right angle, right pace on the pass, and he just gets it wrong. Allows Lindelof to come over, cover, put the ball out for a throw-in. That's exactly the situation where Brighton haven't been as good or as sharp as what they normally are, and it's a big reason why they're not getting enough shots on target.
Throw-in taken on the right, and then Gross blasts it into Rashford, and it bounces out of play past the assistant for a throw-in next to the corner flag. Still 0-0, Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. This year's FA Cup final will be the 142nd, and there's never been a Manchester derby in the final. Throw-in taken by Gross, back to Caicedo, then Webster knocks it across into the centre circle, and Dunk will turn it all the way back to Sanchez. Brighton have had more of the ball in the second half, but it's just got the feel that this could go a long way, or alternatively maybe won by just the one goal. It's got that tight feel to it. Brighton central defenders on the ball, but being forced back. But then the pass finds Estepinian, but Casemiro's in on him, but Estepinian is strong there and stands up again to Anthony, who was all over his back and actually fouling him. And the referee's actually played advantage. He was going to give the free kick, but he's allowed the pass to go forward towards Mitoma down the left. Mitoma now turning. He's up against Wan-Bissaka. Takes him on. Wan-Bissaka got a foot in. Excellent defending again. Wan-Bissaka on Mitoma. And not for the first time in the match.
No, brilliant body position from Wan-Bissaka. This is what he's top drawer at. It really is. I mean, you can ask questions sometimes with the ball going forwards, but in terms of 1v1 defending, I think it's a perfect situation for him this afternoon to really showcase that with Mitoma. He's done well to keep him under wraps, and just great distance, body shape, where he wants to show, and then the timing that he steps in is absolutely spot on.
Lindelof, that's a heady touch from him as the ball was played over the top. He was being put under pressure by Welbeck, but it bounced off the Swedish central defender behind for a corner to Brighton. That corner coming up, but first ready for side.
Aberdeen 2, Rangers 0. This time it's Miofsky who got it. A long cross meant for the back post. He got there first, headed across McGregor. This is a shocker for Rangers. Aberdeen 2, Rangers 0.
Corner is taken to the back post. It's headed across the box, headed out. Mitoma hits the shot, bounces out, and then Ciso with the effort. Left foot came at it quickly, but he hit the shot, caught it on the volley, and that's a very good save from De Gea through a crowd of players in the penalty area. But De Gea had a good sight on it and pushed it up and over the top corner.
Well, that's more like the Ciso strike from last weekend. All out, really full leather here. Foot straight through the ball on his left foot. It comes to him off a deflection, doesn't hesitate, strikes through it, and it's a fantastic save from David De Gea. He sees it through the players, but he has to react quickly. It's going in the roof of the net, and he just tips it over the crossbar with his right hand.
Great reaction as well from the 19-year-old. Just saw it and hit it. Here's the corner. Oh, it's headed over the bar. Welbeck was in there, got up well in a crowd of players, but couldn't keep it down against his former club, and it was over the top by a yard.
Should score, Danny Welbeck. Brilliant chance. Lays on the floor. He knows how well he did to get up there. He did the hard bit, which is getting through the bodies, acknowledging the flight of the ball, timing the jump, absolute perfection. Just doesn't time the header. Doesn't even hit the target. He's 4 yards out. He has to hit the target with that, and if he does, I think the ball's in the back of the net. And he has just seen Roberto De Zerbi turn away in frustration. He had a good look at that. He could see how good a chance that was, and there haven't been many for Brighton in this game, and that was a big one for Danny Welbeck.
Haven't been many for him, for either team. That's the best chance.
Yeah, best chance of the game for sure.
Danny Welbeck, an FA Cup winner here with Arsenal in 2017. Scored 10 of his England goals in this stadium. 10 out of the 17 that he scored, and still going strong at the age of 32. He's kind of revitalised, isn't he? Not a heady scorer, but he's an important player. And he's done so well. I mean, he had really bad knee injury at Arsenal, cost him a lot of seasons trying to get back, and then recurrent injuries because of that, and he's just kind of figured things out, got himself on the pitch, and done very well for Brighton this season. Yeah, and a good guy for Evan Ferguson to learn from as well, who's out injured. Manchester United nick it back on the far side, still 0-0. Anthony on the chase, a low shot, but straight at the goalkeeper from the angle into the area. He did have options there, but he went for goal with his left foot, but it was straight at Sanchez.
I'm not sure if it was a shot, John. It must have been. He's kind of looking at his players as if to say, well, I was trying to guide that one in there somewhere, but there's no one there.
It was a back pass.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm trying to maybe dig him out here a little bit and help him, but there's just no oomph on the strike at all. I mean, I assume it was an attempted pass. I can't imagine that's a shot.
Well, it'll go down in the statistics as an effort on goal.
Yeah.
Fred's coming on, so who's he going to replace? Well, you'd think Casemiro or Ericsson.
Maybe.
So Ericsson, who's just trying to long back.
Looking at Bruno Fernandes, is he moving?
No, he did take.
I'm not sure if he's not moving well, Bruno Fernandes. No. I think he might come off and Ericsson just bump into that forward position and bring Fred on.
Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. 5 live on the World Service from the BBC. Ball played through the middle, and actually it bounces back to McAllister, and now to March into the area on the right, takes on Dalot, right footed ball across, and actually in the end De Gea was able to get a touch to it, leapt up, got a palm to it to push it away across the penalty area and out for a throw.
It's gone out for a throw-in, but I think Solly March needs to put that ball in one touch from me. The moment it comes wide to him, right foot, just fizz that one across the goal. Ask the question of the centre-backs. They're horrible balls to deal with. Instead he has a touch and you're then slowing it down. He's 1v1 with Darlow. He then has to get round him, get the cross in, where I think just put it in early and ask the question.
Fred still waiting to come on. Still 0-0. Here's Rashford, receives the ball on the left-hand side. We've seen little or nothing of this. Rashford now racing up to the edge of the penalty area, but Webster got a foot in it, just watched it. Good defending, simple. Kept his eyes on the ball and took it away from Rashford, and now Brighton. That's excellent again from Caicedo. Forward to the halfway line, but Enciso's pass was a little short, so Wan-Bissaka was onto that, and Wan-Bissaka is away from Estupiñán, still going, takes him on again, round the outside, he's being pulled back, referee allows it to go, Wan-Bissaka back now into the area, a stretch, Casemiro with a chance, it bounces down for Anthony, but defenders were in there, and Brighton were able to clear through Matoma. Still Manchester United, a rare attack, dunk with a stretch, and then cleared away by Caicedo on the edge of the box. Suddenly the pace has increased. Bruno Fernandes wins the ball back. That might have been a foul on Enciso. That's not given. Matoma's chasing. Anthony with the cross. Casemiro couldn't get there. It was over his head and it dropped on the edge of the box to March, who was able to play it away. And now they're appealing for a foul, for a challenge on Enciso by Wan-Bissaka as the ball was being cleared downfield. And the ball's now been whacked out of play on the far side, and I think we'll see Fred coming onto the field now as well. Well, that was a flurry of activity.
It was. It's the kind of energy and tempo that we've been longing for a little bit in this game, and it all kind of happened at once. I think it's a contact with Enciso and Lindelof, which is why he's down on the floor holding the back of his right hamstring, Enciso, but it was a sloppy touch from him, or the pass, crossfield pass that allowed Wan-Bissaka to step in, and boy did he step in. Went past a couple of players, shrugged off a foul from Estupiñán and put a great ball into the box.
That's Matthew Upson with us, England World Cup defender, and we're seeing now this first substitution of the semi-final, and it is Christian Eriksen who's coming off, who had to spell out. He's had to play because of injuries and suspensions, so this is his third start, having been out for a period of time with an ankle problem. So he's off and Fred comes on. He's got a couple of goals on this FA Cup run that Manchester United are on. A remarkable run because Manchester United have played 4 matches in the FA Cup this season, all of them at Old Trafford, and they've won them all 3-1. So a change to the routine today. Still 0-0 as Estupiñán turns as Anthony hares after him, and he plays the ball across his penalty area, and it's passed out by Sanchez, but then Caicedo turns it out here to absolutely no one, and the ball just runs out of play for a throw into Manchester United. Their supporters now, you can hear thousands and thousands of them in the 3 tiers to our left at Wembley.
He's so used to a player being there, Caicedo, that he just played that one blind, didn't he? Came into him, first time right foot, just whipped that ball round the corner, hoping that Solly March would be there.
Oh, Bruno Fernandes, that's a lovely touch into the path of Anthony! Left foot shot is saved! Sanchez down to his right to push it away, comes out, Martial got there first, now back to the edge of the area, Dalot square from him, Fred just into the action, Fred turns away from goal and gives it back to Luke Shaw. So this time a proper save for Sanchez to make from Anthony from round about the edge of the area. Oh, good work from Rashford on the edge of the box, beat one man and then was caught, brought down by Enciso. It's on the D, it's on the D, right of centre. Rashford gets up and remonstrates with the referee, but Manchester United, Rashford, they've won a free kick in a very good position.
Yeah, he's just too quick across the turf for them. Marcus Rashford there. McAllister steps out from midfield, tries to win the ball, and Rashford just pops it through his legs, so sharp with his feet, and then Enciso then is just trying to recover from the wrong position, clips his heel and he goes over just in the D, outside the 18-yard box. In a great position, John, isn't it? This is full on, Bruno Fernandes territory, up and down over the wall. It's just far enough out. It's probably about 2 yards outside of the semicircle. It's very central, just slightly to the right hand side, and just begging for that type of ball to be hit.
Yes, it's probably more Bruno Fernandes this than Marcus Rashford.
Yeah,
his right of centre. Brighton are going to make a change, and Joel Veltman is being prepared to come on. We weren't expecting him to be involved. It was a hamstring injury that he had. He's on the bench and he's now limbering up, but
I assume that'll be Enciso coming off and McAllister moving up into that number 10 position.
After the knock that Enciso took. So free kick, this is a big moment, 0-0. 25 minutes to go. Bruno Fernandes placing the ball ever so carefully. Rashford is there as well, and actually Rashford puts his foot next to the ball and takes 3 or 4 strides back, but you would think it would be Bruno Fernandes. So a free kick for Brighton to defend. Bruno Fernandes, right-footed into the wall, it bounces down, back to Bruno Fernandes, who hits the shot, and he drove it as it bounced up on the volley, but over the wall and over the bar as well. Goal kick.
Yeah, not enough height on the free kick, nowhere near enough height actually. It was almost chest height, but the players in the wall were able to block that, and then it comes back to him. He really does lash quite wildly to strike the ball goalwards way over the crossbar.
Well, I was told before the match that if Veltman was needed for maybe 10 minutes or so, that we might see him. But it's a bit more than that, isn't it? 25 minutes on the prospect of extra time.
There's been a couple of times where, since half-time Enciso, his quality of that pass just hasn't been up to the level that Brighton need, and I think that De Zerbi is looking at that. He's done incredibly well, young player coming into a game like this. I think it's time just to pull him off, get McAllister into that number 10 role, get Gross back into midfield where he's more comfortable, and fingers crossed Joel Veltman will be able to play the rest of this game, maybe extra time possibly.
He looks crestfallen, doesn't he? And Enciso coming off the field, he had his chance, had the shot that was very well saved by De Gea. So Veltman, did you see when he was preparing to come on, he started slapping his hamstrings. He slapped his hamstrings with his palms and then slapped the tops of his thighs as well. Yeah, it's like one of those alpine dancers, wasn't it? Yodeling away during the routine.
You do a bit that in your spare time.
I can't say I ever have. Here's Fred, he's challenged by Welbeck, bounces back to Shaw, and then Shaw goes back to the halfway line. It's always time yet though, Matt. Oh yeah, always up for new experiences.
He seems very knowledgeable.
Right. Halfway through the second half, Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. Casemiro now, it could open up from here, and then he scoops it up and beyond the run of Martial and through. It was a little bit like yesterday when the Sheffield United defence just opened up for Mahrez as Casemiro took it forward, but unlike Sheffield United, Brighton very quickly tightened up.
Have you seen the Martial gloves are still in place?
Yeah, controversial, right?
They are, aren't they?
I think they might go the distance.
I think he might. His hands obviously aren't that warm yet.
Maybe he could do with a little bit of the old slapping of his thighs to warm them.
Possibly a bit deep heat or something.
Yeah. Brighton 0, Manchester United 0, and then Martial puts Webster under pressure, and Webster passes it out. An unforced error. Throw in down the line, Gallo takes it. Bruno Fernandes is off to that. I think it might have come off the Manchester United man. No, it's been given as a Manchester United throw, and referees allowed play to continue. They go back to the halfway line now. Lindelof actually has a wander forward, and then Fred comes across, and as he played it out to the far side, it took a deflection and was out of play for a throw-in to Manchester United, who today are playing in a record 31st FA Cup semi-final. Long ball fullback to the edge of the box. This is only Brighton's third. Casemiro, Fred, now Wan-Bissaka on the right hand side. Wan-Bissaka curls it forward, but that's to no one, and will run through for a goal kick. Brighton's only final, if you haven't picked up on this week, which I think would almost be impossible to miss it if you're a football fan, was 40 years ago. One of my favourite FA Cup finals, Matt, the Jimmy Melia final, where Brighton came by helicopter to the FA Cup final. As the ball ball is played out from the back, and Estupinian can't keep it in, and it's out for throw-in on the halfway line that Manchester United take. Brighton then losing after a replay. It was the famous "and Smith must score" final. Peter Jones with the commentary on BBC Radio. Manchester United with Dalot forward to Bruno Fernandes, but that's just a little overhit and it bounces off Rashford, but it bounces for Martial. Bruno Fernandes with a pass down the left hand side, that's nicely weighted. Martial just gets there, no, he couldn't keep it in, he got there a fraction too late, and it was out for a throw into Brighton. Matt Upson.
Yeah, linesman flagged very early. I think the ball just slightly over the line. I mean, he's running flat out, Anthony Martial, to try and keep that in. I think the game is so evenly poised. I mean, your assessment of extra time, John, is looking like a good shout for that start of the game. I mean, I thought there was going to be goals in this game, but there's a little bit of a stalemate.
This is reflected by the score, goalless. 5 Live and the World Service. 606 lines are open to talk to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. 08085 909 693. There'll be further commentary from the Women's Super League on Sports Extra later. 6:45 Manchester City West Ham, and then after that commentary on the final round of the Chevron Golf, which will start on the website and app from 8 o'clock. Manchester United with Lindelof turns it back to De Gea, long right-footed pass from him, but that's headed away out of play by the newly arrived Veltman for a throw into Manchester United down the left. Brighton were on top for the opening passages of the second half, but Manchester United are now in the ascendancy.
Yeah, they've come right back into the game, starting to assert a little bit of control. You just feel when the game gets a little bit messy and frantic, that suits them. They've got the players to adapt with that really well.
Yeah, like this man, Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, he's going to take a free kick after Martial was muscled over by Webster. So a free kick just in front of the centre circle. Dalot makes a run, but Bruno Fernandes waits, standing there, just puts his palms apart. Beard bristling. Out to the left to Fred. Now Martial in a deep position. Here's Lindelof, slightly hunched, as he always seems to be. Luke Shaw. Low ball forward to Fred, who takes it away from Gross, who has now moved forward into that midfield position that is more natural for him. Gross, who scored the 2 goals when Manchester United were beaten by Brighton right at the start of the season in Eric Ten Hag's first match. Alexis McAllister scored an own goal in that match as well, I remember. But Manchester United were well beaten that day. Brighton were excellent under Graham Potter. This has been a very tight affair. A few saves. De Gea, excellent stop from Enciso in the second half. Welbeck had that chance, the header that he put over the top, but Sanchez also made saves in the first period from Anthony in the second half as well.
It's a great pass from Lewis Dunk there into the feet of, I think it was Casado up there, really broke the lines, went past about 3 or 4 players, really fired the ball out from centre-back position.
Welbeck then in close to Welbeck, who went for the shot but missed the ball because Lindelof had got a touch on it, actually. Good defending, and instead of kicking the ball, he kicked Lindelof, and it's a free kick to Manchester United in their own penalty area. And actually Welbeck might have come off worse there.
He has. He's come off worse because he's just volleyed, or say swiped through the shin of Lindelof. I think he might have clashed knees actually, Danny Welbeck, just holding his right knee here. Does well, gives a little give and go with Pascal Gross, it looks like. He just didn't see Lindelof coming from the position. It was good cover from the Manchester United centre-back to read the first touch, step across and deal with it, but I think he just hurt his right knee there, Danny Welbeck, and we touched on how light the Brighton squad is with current injuries, and this is a concern for Brighton.
Yes, it is, and the German striker Dennis Undav is not named among the substitutes today. Ferguson's injured, and if there was a problem with Welbeck, oh no, he is on the bench.
He is on there, yeah.
Oh, well, He'd be the option then.
It's the only option.
Yeah, he's the only option.
The only option.
And here he is. He's been brought forward. Yeah. And that looks as though that's it for Danny Welbeck, who, as you mentioned in the first half, Matt, that some of the injuries that he's had, really unfortunate. They've really disrupted his later career. And now here at Wembley, against the club where it all started, he's a Mancunian as well.
Yeah.
That's going to be it.
I'm just looking at Roberto De Zerbi pacing around the technical area with his hands in his pockets, looking at if I can tell the cogs are turning. He's starting to think, right, we need to maybe do something a little bit different here. I've lost that many players. Both my centre forwards are out. We're having to shuffle players here, there and everywhere. I think he's really trying to rally his team to get into that rhythm that we know they can produce to create some chances.
Well, Danny Welbeck has been walked off the field now, and Dennis Undav will step into an FA Cup semi-final. He made his debut in that match right at the start of the season. This young German of Turkish extraction trots onto the field at number 21. Back to Aberdeen Rangers, Roddy Forsyth.
15 minutes of normal time left. It's still Aberdeen 2, Rangers 0. Liam Scales and Bjorn Miofsky just after half-time scoring both the goals. Rangers have had 75% of the possession. They've had most of the chances, but Aberdeen have the goals, and it's 2-0 now.
Thank you, Roddy. Rashford actually uses the top of his shoulder to move the ball in field, and it bounces to Martial. There's a crunching challenge from Webster. An excellent one it was as well, took it away from him, but Manchester United come again. Anthony on the right side of the penalty area. Anthony on his left foot slips it across. Bruno Fernandes with his back to goal. There might have been a better option there, and then he crosses it, but just scooped it into the 6-yard box, and Sanchez Kane caught it well. Delivers it downfield, but too much on that, and it bounces out of play for front.
Matoma just dribbling in the wrong area of the pitch there, came inside, middle of his own half, got robbed of the ball, and all of a sudden Manchester United had the ball in the wide area with one pass, and Brighton were in a little bit of trouble. Did well to recover, just get themselves through that little piece of trouble with Sanchez coming and claiming that cross. But again, Brighton just with the ball at times in the middle of the park, they'll keep doing it, John. They will just keep playing and playing. Mitoma for me shouldn't be dribbling in that area, but in terms of passing out, there's going to be a couple of turnovers. You just start to wonder, is this game going to be decided on a mistake?
Mitoma, who famously did his thesis at university on dribbling, I bet he didn't put that in it. Wan-Bissaka playing the ball back to De Gea, who clears from the edge of the 6-yard area.
He should know not to dribble in there. He should know. He's done his thesis on it.
Qualified in dribbling. Brighton 0, Manchester United
to mark him down.
It's too late for that. He's already got the scroll. And Dunk has got the ball at his feet. So 6:06 might be delayed. We're in the last 15 minutes. However, the lines are open. 0805 909 693. Manchester United, well, March has completely missed that, and Rashford played it past him, and now Dalot takes it on, and Rashford's available on the left-hand side. There was a foul on Dalot, but the referee allows play to continue. Rashford into the box, takes on the defender. Veltman very nearly beat him, but in the end the touch was heavy. He dropped his shoulder, got a double touch on it, but the second touch was heavy, and it took it behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, he'd thrown Veltman, hadn't he, with that little flip-flap of the right foot outside then in. Lovely when you see that speed from a player like Marcus Rashford running at a player, but Veltman went for the shimmy and he just ran out of space, didn't he? Basically the goal line came too quickly and ran the ball out of play, and now we've got Caicedo. There's been a few on the pitch holding ankles and knees in this game, hasn't there? I don't think that's helped. There's been a lot of broken injury time and players up and down off the turf, a lot of contact, a lot of bumps and bruises.
I think he's going to be okay, although he is still limping, Caicedo. Here's Estupinian, who's managed to find some space on the halfway line, and then misplaces the pass straight at Wan-Bissaka, who's looking for the run of Undav, and then Marcus Rashford is ending up on the ground after a challenge from Veltman. Rashford glares at Veltman and opens his palms, has another look at him, and another one. Brighton in possession. Here's Mitoma. He can make things happen. Back it goes to Duncan, now to Webster. Brighton in the Manchester United half as they play from left to right. Two teams in this second period attacking towards the end where their own supporters are. But still, we wait for the first goal. Caicedo shouts for handball. Referee plays on. Gross to the right-hand side. Now March against Gallo. Left-footed ball in, but at head height, Shaw was able just to lean forward and nod it down away up to Martial, who was wrestled over by Webster. And it's a free kick. And this is probably almost halfway inside the Manchester United half. But that's not the first time Webster on Martial.
It's a yellow card, isn't it?
I think he is going to call him over, is he?
It looked a yellow card to me.
He's just asking for the ball, that's all.
I think Pawson needs to look at that and say, well, lenient, very lenient, because Martial does well, he works hard, wins the ball back, nudges it past, and actually on reflection, I don't think he does grab too much of him there, Webster, and Martial goes down a little bit easy. Perhaps that is a good call from the referee.
Okay. Bounces out of play off Gallo, throwing for Brighton. Manchester United, Carabao Cup winners at the end of February, had their eyes on a cup treble, which has disappeared in the warm Seville night on Thursday. And Brighton, who've never won anything, never mind never won the FA Cup, never won the League Cup, never won the league title, never been the champions of England. So if they were able to get through with a shot at it, just like 40 years ago, this would be a major happening for Brighton and Hove Albion Football Club. And here is March on the right, and March passes it towards the dead ball line, and then Gross on the chase, but Fred was there and blasted it against Gross's shins, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, just had to check his run there, Pascal Gross. He had to bend the run a little bit, and he just wasn't in line with the pass of Solly March from the outside position inside the pitch. And yeah, another little instance of that Brighton link-up in that area hasn't been quite as efficient, as razor-sharp, as the level of quality that we've seen in recent games. It's just been a little bit off it this afternoon.
So still 0-0, not like the 2-2 40 years ago. Were you old enough to remember that final, the 1983 final? Well, I've asked you that sort of question before.
I was about 4.
Okay, so not. No, shame.
You obviously remember it.
I certainly do. Estupinian now bringing the ball forward, playing it into the penalty area. Undav carries it out to the left. Mitoma is there next to a paper aeroplane on the pitch. Now it finds its way to Caicedo. Lovely, beats Bruno Fernandes. Little ball in, looking for the 1-2. Undav tried to give it back, but Caicedo went down. Referee Pawson was having none of that. He said he felt that Caicedo had thrown himself down to the pitch, didn't give the free kick. Brighton come again. Caicedo, once again, he loves a change of feet, doesn't he? But passes it beyond Gross, and it's cleared away on the edge of the box by Gallo.
I don't understand the upside of Caicedo going down at that moment if he isn't fouled. I mean, he's played a 1-2. He's in a great position, just entering Manchester United's box. Why is he going to go over if he doesn't get touched? It seems mad if he tries to buy that foul. I mean, you're better off having the ball and continuing the attack.
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you? 0-0, Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. 5 live in the World Service. Here's March now, cutting in from the left. March might open up, low shot, De Gea makes the save, and then follows up as Gross slid in on the Manchester United goalkeeper. That was a super save by De Gea. He needed all of his reflexes there. I think there was a little change of direction from him to thrust himself down to his left and get a left hand to it.
Yeah, last Solly March cutting inside on the left foot, and you think he's going to bend it to the far post. I think every goalkeeper would assume that a player's going to go far post, and he just drags that one with his left foot down to David De Gea's left hand side. And you're right, John, he has to just adjust his feet, gets down very quickly. Pascal Gross slides in for the follow-up, but had he got to that ball, he was at least 2 yards offside. But good reaction from David De Gea.
Well, if you're listening to us in the car or in the kitchen or in the bath, wherever you are, there could be a dramatic 10 minutes or so coming up, plus added time, because it might be that one goal would win this and send whoever scores it to the FA Cup final at the start of June. We're entering the closing stages. 7 minutes plus added time to go, and there is going to be another change, but it's not immediately apparent. It's going to be a Jadon Sancho, who is going to come on, having been left out of the starting lineup, not been in the best of form recently. Mitoma heading the ball infield. Brighton have kind of recovered their position again in the match after Manchester United had that spell. And then there's a foul by Anthony, who puts his hand on his head, having conceded it in the left centre of the Manchester United half. A foul on McAllister, who wanted to take it quickly, but the referee's going to bring it back. So a free kick for Brighton.
Yeah, it's good play from McAllister. I mean, since he's been in that number 10 position, I think Brighton is just a lot more potent. Is that awareness to find space and that ability to get his head up and play 1 and 2 touch, I think, is what really sets Brighton apart sometimes, and they're in a dangerous position. And you feel a set piece as well. I haven't really seen, other than Welbeck's header, too much happening from set pieces.
Gross has played it behind Estupinian, who did well actually to get there before it ran out of play, and then Mitoma is in on the challenge and concedes a free kick against Anthony, and they messed that up good and proper, Brighton.
I've no clue what that was or why that ball is played out wide left when you're in a position just to cross it or put it in the box, and completely behind the run of Estupinian, and just puts Brighton on the back foot.
Well, that's it for Anthony Martial, who did limp off the field in the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan on Thursday night, and off he comes, not able to score in a semi-final this time, and he is replaced by Jadon Sancho. So Eric Ten Hag, having made that change, will give Rashford a run down the middle now.
Yep, Sanchez across to the left-hand side. Anthony holds that right-hand side position, and Rashford now down the centre-forward position.
5 minutes to go, less than 5 minutes to play. If there is a goal, 606 will follow. 08 085 909 693 for the 5 Live football phone in with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. You can call now to book your slot, but it might be that things are delayed as Brighton go back with Webster, who under pressure plays it back to De Gea, to Sanchez, who clears it out of play on the far side. But just wondering whether that might have been brought back for a foul. No, it isn't. It is going to be a throw-in.
There's a follow-through from Webster just winning that ball. I don't know whether he does this intentionally, because he wins the ball and he just kind of leaves his leg in there and he catches Marcus Rashford, who's running across the face of him to try and pressurise him or steal that ball. And we're in another situation with a player down on the grass, slowing the game down, everything getting a little bit clustered, a little bit jarry, and that's very much been the fashion of this game. It hasn't been a smooth, slick affair. It has at times, but on the whole it's been broken up a lot by these type of incidents.
Now the crowd, 81,445. More than yesterday. Didn't actually see the crowd figure yesterday, but I guess it would have been 70 something or thereabouts, maybe 60 odd. But 0-0, not been the greatest spectacle for a semi-final, but it's tight, and now it's dramatic as Sancho is able to get the ball down and use Dalot to his left, and Dalot's cross into the penalty area was deflected, only back out to Sancho, curling effort, but was never going to curl in enough, and in fact it took a flick, says referee Pawson, which might have prevented it from getting the bend on it that he wanted. So it's a corner to Manchester United.
Yeah, I think it was Solly March just got enough on that, blocking that pathway. Sanchez always looking just to curl that one in the far post, but Solly March just takes up a good position, doesn't dive in, and just forces him to try and feed that ball wide. I think it just skims off his shin to go out for a corner.
Manchester United fans singing Bruno as Fernandes is over there to take this corner, which he does, looking for Casemiro, headed away for Brighton. No, comes out for Mitoma, and Mitoma, now he's got no one in blue and white in front of him, so just holds the ball up, then uses March to the right hand side, who comes in field. He's still inside his own territory though. Solly March still running with it. 8 goals for Brighton this season, having scored them all since Christmas. He's one of the informed players in the Premier League. Solly March might be in the England squad in the summer, we'll see. Ball played forward now. It takes a double deflection to Undav inside the penalty area, but Wan-Bissaka was able to nip in ahead of him, but with that touch it's behind for a Brighton corner.
Yeah, listen to the noise right in front of all the Brighton supporters behind that goal, and they're desperate to see something from their team in this late stage. 88 minutes on the clock. They have an opportunity to put a corner in and put Manchester United under real pressure.
Gross is walking across there to take it. He's in no hurry. This is a moment for composure. The Brighton flags waving behind him, famous crest with the flying seagull on it. And Gross places the ball in the quadrant. We have 90 seconds of the 90 minutes to play. Score now, and Brighton could be in the cup final. And it comes to the near post and is headed down and away by Rashford, unopposed. And Manchester United are able to clear. Yesterday's attendance, by the way, was just under 70,000, 69,602. Caicedo for Brighton. Gross passes it back. Brighton again. And then into the centre circle. One big chance would win it. I wonder if Gordon Smith is watching. I'm sure he is. Thinking about that big chance back in 1983 in the cup final that would have made it 3-2 if he'd been able to beat Gary Bailey. Here's Mitoma down the left-hand side. Mitoma weaves his way into the box, and then a shot on the turn is blocked inside the penalty area. McAllister was... Undav was on it, but as he tried to hit it on the turn, it was blocked, and Manchester United got it away. We're in the 90th minute now, extra time just seconds away. It depends how much is being added on by Robert Jones, who's standing there with the board as the ball is passed forward for Estepinian to take it down into the full-back position. Lindelof has gone there, and Anthony as well, and Estepinian has played it off one of them. They were both together, and it's a corner to Brighton.
Well, have to get delivery into the box here, Brighton. I don't think there's any messing about. No short corners, no trying to be clever. You've got good headers of the ball. Lewis Dunk, Adam Webster especially for me, gets up brilliantly. Just hang one in that penalty spot area. Let him go and attack it. You never know what might happen. Even if he wins that first contact, anything dropping down in the box and might just land at the feet of one of your players.
Thousands of Brighton fans in blue and white are on their feet, staring down from the three sides to our right. Gross with the corner deep to the back post, and Solly March was underneath it in the end and just headed it up and harmlessly over the top of the crossbar by a distance. Goal kick to Manchester United. 3 minutes of added time by the way.
Just a static jump from Solly March. He was almost backpedaling to head that. It's so difficult to score or even get the ball underneath the crossbar when you're going backwards.
He was not the man.
No,
Brighton wanted that to fall to.
No, it's not his skill set really to get onto that. And like I say, he's not got a run up. He's not coming onto the ball with any kind of power.
David De Gea takes this goal kick onto the head of Webster, and then forward from Gross just launches one for Mitoma, who's up against Wan-Bissaka. It's been an excellent contest that. Wan-Bissaka running with him. Mitoma now gets away, but with the touch it took it away, and actually as he followed up he caught Bruno Fernandes, just in his enthusiasm to try and get there at pace. He made contact with Bruno Fernandes, caught him. It's a free kick. And also, by the way, it's Casemiro, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it is a yellow card for Mitoma for the challenge.
Yeah, I have to big credit for Casemiro. That stage of the game shows that big game experience, really. Knowing your players, knowing Mitoma, the desire he wants to come inside. He read the situation brilliantly. He's got a kick in the shin for his trouble, but it's a great position from a defensive midfield point of view at this stage of the game, just to support your fullback, and does a great job for Manchester United there.
So Brighton 0, Manchester United 0, extra time just a matter of moments away. Hope you didn't have anything planned tonight, Matt.
No, it's just this job.
Yeah, good.
I'm delighted it's dragging on and going to extra time.
I don't mind at all.
Well happy with that.
Yeah. De Gea clears this downfield, but straight out of play. Throw in, which was a foulish throw from Veltman to Webster across the penalty area to Dunk, and then back to Webster again. 15 seconds I make it that we've got before the whistle goes, and we'll have 30 minutes of added time. The famous game between them 40 years ago went to a replay. None of that anymore. Ball out towards Mitoma, who'll do well to keep it in play. Backing away, he actually heads it back into play to Manchester United. There might be one final attack. No, there won't, because referee Pawson blows his whistle just as it was passed forward for the runners Wan-Bissaka. But that's it, 0-0. and we will have extra time. Matt Upson.
Well, you were spot on, John, with your before the game prediction of extra time, and it's been very well balanced. I mean, you look statistically, Brighton have controlled possession, they've had more passes, they've had a lot more corners, but in terms of shots on target, and the balance of probably how potent each team has been in this game is pretty level. And I think, you know, it's now going to be about mentality, fatigue, experience, game management to see who goes on and wins this match.
So there we are, relatively few chances in the match, but a couple of very good saves by David De Gea in that second period from Enciso, and then that low shot on the turn that he got down very well to save from Solly March. So I did say when I came into Wembley Stadium today through the West Gate to our friend Elwyn there, I said to him, I'll see you after extra time and penalties. Well, there will be extra time at least, because it has finished Brighton 0, Manchester United 0, and extra time is on the way. And Manchester United making another change at the start of extra time, and the on-loan Bayern Munich man, the Austrian international Marcel Sabitzer, has come on, and he has replaced Anthony. So will that mean Bruno Fernandes? I think it will, moving out towards the right-hand side.
Looks like it. He's just having a conversation with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, both on this right-hand flank nearest to us, and it looks like he's just pulled onto the right-hand side with Sabitzer central in midfield, and Sancho out on the left, Marcus Rashford down the middle up front, but I assume Sabitzer will just play that slightly more advanced number 10 role.
Surprised by that? Anthony coming off? I know we've got a little issue or not, but
not really. No, I think I'm still flattered to see, you know, I don't see too much end product from him. He's had a couple of shots, one of them, I don't know if we can call it a shot, and even if he gets in those positions, I'm not seeing a lot of cutting edge or end product to make me think he's the type of player that you need to leave on in a game like this, that's going to have that moment. He hasn't done that often enough for Manchester United, so it doesn't surprise me that Erik ten Hag has made that change.
8 goals this season, but just the 2 assists, one of which was last weekend.
That's the key thing for me. From that position, only 2 assists from that position. That has to be higher than that.
So extra time begins here at Wembley Stadium on this now overcast London afternoon. Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. This is 5 Live and the World Service as well from the BBC. Listen as well to the live radio on BBC Sounds wherever you go. And Brighton playing from right to left in this first period of extra time with their captain Dunk, who passes the ball to Mitoma. Mitoma now approaching the penalty area, stabs it across the edge of the box. Stupinian was there, but as he played it into the area, Lindelof was able to clear. Forward it goes from the central area, from McAllister to substitute Undav, but Manchester United are able to defend that, and it's back to the halfway line. So an extra substitution will be allowed in extra time, remember, but both of them, De Zerbi and Erik ten Hag, still have plenty of options there in terms of the numbers. Here is McAllister, who's going to go for goal from the angle from 25 yards, but that sails away wide and high and into the Manchester United fans.
I mean, they haven't been exposed defensively in this game, Manchester United, have they? I mean, the one area that had to have a massive reshuffle, really, when you think about it, right back playing left back, a left back playing centre back, Lindelof playing, he doesn't really play that much, and you think, oh, they're going to look a bit shaky, but I have to say, it's probably been the most consistent, solid part of their performance so far. Luke Shaw has been excellent in terms of his positioning, organisation, reading of the game, when to step all the way in, when to drop off, and they've handled themselves really well, the Manchester United back four so far.
So Brighton now take up possession again inside their own half. Bruno Fernandes challenged on the right-hand side. Mitoma takes it on but couldn't find the pass forward. And so Manchester United have it again. It's a blow for Brighton to lose Welbeck with Ferguson unavailable. So Undav, really the third choice centre forward, but here he is with the green boots on, playing the ball to the right-hand side. March coming in, skipping around the first challenge, but then Fred was there on the cover, and then Lindelof arrived as March took it further on, just to wallop it away, right-footed, way downfield to Sanchez. Forward again to Webster. 3 minutes into the first period of extra time, so if you switched on for 6:06, it will follow maybe in about half an hour, maybe a little more than that, depending on whether this semi-final goes to penalties or not. Brighton in possession over there on the far side, comes back to Webster. Marcus Rashford not too far away from him. Marcus Rashford, who scored the second Manchester United goal in the Carabao Cup final after Casemiro opened the scoring. But I don't think he's had a direct chance on goal in the match, Marcus Rashford. No, he hasn't. Looking down at my list here. 6:06, by the way, on 5 Live will be on until 8:30 tonight, so it's been extended after the delay that there will be. Caicedo does well, strong, plays it through the middle, Gross, now to Estupiñán, Undab with a chance, poor control. He had the opportunity there, but his first touch was awful, and Gallo was in like a flash to clear it away.
Wow, what a chance. They work it brilliantly, the slick passing from Brighton, and Dennis Undab's not going to have a better chance. If he just keeps that control close to him with his right foot, he's got a strike on goal with his left, and he just has a horrible first touch.
Middle of the goal, maybe 14 yards out, and it ballooned away off him, and Gallo was able to clear. Brighton with it again though. Estupiñán, left with a ball, he's driven that in right across the penalty area, stretch, and a header away by Gallo. Brighton again, March flicks it forward. Here's Gross on the right hand side, 6 goals against Manchester United. He's scored in his time with Brighton. Deep cross from him over everyone, over Mitoma, and it bounces out of play to Manchester United. Cheers down to our left, and a free throw in to Manchester United. They might be back.
It's interesting,
Manchester City.
Interesting, Joel Veltman as well. I mean, what minute was it that he came on at? I mean, because if he wasn't fit to play, I can't remember what time it was. In the roughly an hour or so, wasn't it, into the game?
We'll find out.
And he'll have half an hour there, then another half, nearly an hour of football. You think he wasn't quite fit enough to start the game, but they just need him to hold out. I think he's managing himself well. He's not really bombing forward a lot. He's just very much focused on his job at the moment, which is Jadon Sancho, those 1v1s out on that far side of the pitch. But I just think that that's something that they need to just keep half an eye on, Brighton, because he was a real injury doubt, and he's having to play a lot of minutes with this extra time.
67th minute.
67th, yeah. So just shy of an hour if he plays the whole game, which is a lot for somebody who wasn't fit to start.
This is the sound of Wembley Stadium in extra time on a Sunday evening, still waiting for the opening goal. Straightforward for Manchester City yesterday, thanks to Riyad Mahrez and his hat-trick, as McAllister's clearly been pulled back there by Lindelof, and that will be a yellow card. He's trying to wriggle away 10 yards inside the Manchester United half. Lindelof made a vain attempt to try and avoid a yellow card by leaning over and trying to help him up, but yellow card for the Manchester United central defender, and free kick is taken short by McAllister. Here's Caicedo through the middle, who's going to go for goal. It flies away wide at the top left corner. De Gea was concerned for a moment or two, but was probably 2-3 feet wide.
I have to see on the replay. I mean, it was under the crossbar height. I think it was comfortably wide, but it was the height that fooled me, because it was probably half a yard under the bar, so on target. That would have definitely needed a save from De Gea.
So goal kick for the Manchester United goalkeeper. Could be a Manchester derby final. Pep Guardiola down in the conference room last night was asked whether Manchester United fans would be scared of the prospect of a derby cup final. Pep Guardiola said, scared? Why should they be scared? They're our neighbours. Neighbours should always be friends. Great response. It was an excellent answer. Ball bounces out for a throw. Not so much Alex Ferguson, that was it, the noisy neighbours. Back it goes from Lindelof to De Gea, who clears to the halfway line, headed forward by Estupiñán. Now Casemiro might be caught in possession, but actually is able to recover and find Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho skips away out towards the far side. Still going Jadon Sancho down the left wing. He's got support there from Dalot, but Sancho's still going into the penalty area, puts his foot on the ball, gives it back to Dalot, and then Sancho onto his right foot, curls it in, glancing header from Sabitzer beyond the far post. Goal kick.
What a chance. Great ball from Sancho with his right foot, and Sabitzer, it's a tough one to get the right contact. He arrives in the box and he has to just come back on himself a little bit, because the ball's a tiny fraction behind him, and it's that glancing header. You almost just use the pace of the ball to guide it into that far post, and is a good yard or two wide, but great chance and much better from Jadon Sancho.
Good from Sancho. There was an end product there, but Mitoma, who's produced a great deal of end product this season. Now the ball played forward from the right-hand side from March, but that was poor from him. And Manchester United attack with Dalot to the halfway line, but he will take it back over there and then knock it infield towards Luke Shaw, who has looked very comfortable. Luke Shaw, been no scares to this point about him playing in central defence here in a big match at Wembley. Casemiro just rides the challenge from young Caicedo again.
And every time I see Shaw at centre back, he's comfortable, isn't he? No problem.
Long pass forward from Dalot. Rashford is not flagged offside. He's got the ball left side of the area, angles it back. Sancho is there. Still Sancho. Defenders in the path. Tried to give it to Fred, who missed his kick on the edge of the area. And now, very, very late, the flag goes up, and Rashford was offside.
Why is it going up now?
That's what the players are saying. That's what the Brighton players are saying. Lewis Dunn, the assistant referee. What are you doing?
What are you doing? Just put the flag up. But if it's offside, I understand we have to, the VAR has to be allowed time, but I mean, it's pretty comfortable, the linesman, but there's a lot of play gone in here. We're in extra time, and the energy that you spend, the sprint to get back in, the adjustment to turn, then you've got to come out, then you're throwing yourself in the way. All of a sudden you've done a lot of work for no reason, and I think at this stage of the game is poor.
Mitoma is running with the ball, goes between two Manchester United players, and then the pass to Undab, who was on his heels. And the ball just ran away through for a goal kick.
Yeah, not on the same wavelength at all. Mitoma inside, he just needed to be ready. It's almost like he didn't expect the pass there, Undab. The awareness of Mitoma is such a high level. Always expect him to find you with the ball, and he just wasn't ready. And you're right, he was very much on his heels there.
Well, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is being substituted now, and he did come off, didn't he, in Seville. He was subbed off at half-time on Thursday, so whether he's got an issue there or not, I don't know, but he's off. And also coming off, is that Bruno Fernandes? Yeah, who is making way. So the captain, and actually the armband's going all the way back to David De Gea from Thursday night calamities in Seville to captain of Manchester United on the Sunday in the semi-final. And Wout Weghorst comes on.
Yeah, not featured that much lately, has he? Not been scoring enough goals, or not enough of a goal threat, although I do think he can be pivotal for Manchester United, and I use that word pivotal because he just is that central target for other players to move off of. Even though he's not sharing in the goals very much himself, he can bring other players into the game.
Started his first 19 matches at Manchester United. Now he's come on as a substitute in 5 in a row. But he's on. It's a different sort of challenge that he offers. So he's on up front, and
Darlow out to right back with Malacia coming on into his usual left back position. Just gives that balance of both full backs being on their favourite side, with Shaw and Lindelof between them.
So Malacia, who's not played since he had a really uncomfortable ending to the first leg against Seville at Old Trafford. Brighton win the ball back on the halfway line, being brought forward by Undab. That was good work from him, and then he couldn't find the pass to Mitoma, and the readjusting Dalot was able to cut it out, played forward to Sancho on the right hand side, forward to Fred. He's in the full back position, now he's into the box, plays it right across the 6-yard box, but beyond Weghorst in the middle. Rashford wasn't anywhere near it, but Rashford has been able to take up possession again, but then he's dispossessed by Veltman, although Veltman's given it away. This could open up again for Manchester United, but Caicedo steps in. Excellent work from him on the edge of his own penalty area. He's running it away now into the centre circle. Brighton have got 4 against 4 here as they come forward. Mitoma against Dalot. Into the box now. Mitoma goes to ground as he tried to take it past Sancho, who was out there as well, helping out Dalot, and it all dribbles away and comes to nothing, as it were.
A little bit tired, wasn't it, from Mitoma? Was waiting and waiting and waiting for the overlap of the left back Estupiñán to get around him, but we're well into extra time. It's going to take a little bit longer than maybe what it usually does, and he just falls to the ground eventually. Mitoma looking very tired, but one person that isn't that tired is Caicedo, my goodness, he does get about the pitch, doesn't he? His anticipation and ability to... he wins balls that he's just got no right to come away with. He just throws himself into these challenges and lunging into tackles, but he's so accurate with the way he wins the ball, and the reading of the play has just been excellent. He's been standout for me in this game, Caicedo.
He's looked very comfortable on this great stage, Wembley Stadium, on a big occasion like this as well. Caicedo, the 21-year-old, born in Santo Domingo, which is in the foothills of the Andes, the youngest of 10 children, but he's a real star in the making. He's got a new contract with Brighton, but they'll all be after him this summer, won't they, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. They've been after him already, but performances like this, and every time I see him, he's a big impact player, and he can do a little bit of everything. Defensively, his tackling and energy is absolutely outstanding.
He lives a flip-flop as well, doesn't he, as you call
a flip-flap. John, it's a flip-flap.
Flip-flop.
Flip-flop. Not got the same ring, has it?
Not quite. Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. I think it's back to those Alpine dancers, isn't it? Here's Sabitzer, 30 yards out, square. Fred, now to the edge of the area. Sancho controls it, plays it, chance for Rashford with a shot, and that's an excellent save from Sanchez, diving to his left. Rashford had to readjust really quickly there as the ball bounced quickly to him on the edge of the area, took a deflection as well, and diving to his left, Sanchez made an excellent save.
Moment of the game with Sanchez there. Super save. This is what he can do. This is the kind of physical agility that he has, the spring to react and get out there. He has to adjust because the ball flicks off of Webster and it bounces up horribly. The height is better for him, in fairness, but reaction is great.
Corner taken by Shaw, but cleared away by Brighton at near post. Fred tries to play it in. We're in added time at the end of the first period of extra time. Still 0-0, and then Sabitzer's ball forward is easily dealt with by Sanchez, who underarms it out. And then there's a foul over there on the far side by Weghorst on Veltman. So a free kick. I think the ball might have been moving there. It was. And everyone absolutely hates it, but the ball was moving. And they are the laws. Yeah. So it's a free kick. Lines are open for 606, 08, 085, 909, 693 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. They don't mind a flip-flop either. And Brighton in possession. There is the whistle for the end of the first period of extra time, so we're still waiting for the first goal of the semi-final. Brighton still haven't scored a goal in an FA Cup semi-final for 40 years. 0-0 at the break, where it is Brighton 0, Manchester United 0, as the second period of extra time begins in this Emirates FA Cup semi-final. And the managers have had their final say in the huddles. Brighton playing the ball back to Sanchez, who made that very good save from the deflected Rashford shot. Brighton's clearance is poor. Webster headed forward by Fred. No further substitutions at the start of the second period. Shaw and Fred, and then Fred Stitch has taken it out for a throw-in via a deflection to Manchester United. I noticed that even though he'd been substituted, Bruno Fernandes was very much the talker in the middle of all that, and the club captain Harry Maguire, with his tracksuit on, suspended today, he was involved as well, as Manchester United take the throw and it bounces behind for what they say should have been a corner, but referee Pawson says goal kick to Brighton. So it is the old situation, isn't it? Second period of extra time, pressure's on, one slip now.
Yeah, and I was looking at Sanchez there, and he saw Mitoma just pull out to the left, and I thought he just shaped up to try and play that goal kick early and be aggressive with it, and right, bang, we're just going to get onto our way. And I think something just registered in his mind, like, whoa, hold on a minute, let's just slow this down, keep the ball, play out, no risks, no handing the ball back to Manchester United straight away, and we'll just try and control this game. If we can probe and play and create something, obviously great, but if not, we just got to stay in this, and if it goes to penalties, be ready.
So Brighton in blue and white, playing it through to March. Runs into congestion in the centre of the Manchester United half. Casemiro back in field to Fred, and then Fred's challenge. Caicedo did well there. Undav to March, and March delays his shot. Fred's gone with him. March's shot, and De Gea goes down to his left. He's hit well, but it was close-ish to De Gea, who just had to drop to his left and caught it.
Well, again, I think there's another chance where Solly March can just hit that early. After one touch, he can just pull the trigger and shoot. He waits and waits and waits and just gets smothered out. But I mean, Caicedo again in the middle of the park. He's the wrong side of players, and he's got this ability to just throw himself in there, and he just kind of hooks his foot around players, gets a toe on the ball, and he always just pops out into his teammate's path. It's just an unbelievable kind of knack that he has of making those tackles without fouling, winning the ball and keeping possession all in one, and he's just exceptional at it.
He's just a little guy, isn't he? But he's wiry, and he's strong. They obviously breed them strong in the foothills of the Andes. As the ball is played down the right for Dalot, now at right back in the match, trying to take it round the outside. Mitoma's gone with him, but the cross is over everyone inside the penalty area, and it bounces out for a throw-in for Brighton. Couple of late results in the county championship. Middlesex have beaten Nottinghamshire by 4 wickets. Last Sunday afternoon we were over the road from Trent Bridge, where Nottinghamshire won, but they've lost today, and in Division 2 Glamorgan and Durham has ended in a draw. So late results in the county championship. Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. This is 5 Live on the World Service, and we've got just over 10 minutes of extra time to play, and unless someone can snatch it, this FA Cup semi-final is going to be decided by penalty shootout. Both Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho are down there on the pitch, having been involved in the penalty shootout at the end of the Euros final. Shaw playing it forward. Weghorst gets up and nods it on. Stretch from Dunk to clear it into the centre circle. Caicedo is underneath that. He heads it forward, but Lindelof is going to pass it all the way back to De Gea. The crowd, the Brighton fans at that end, are onto the Manchester United goalkeeper, but he's had a good day today after one of his poorest days really on Thursday night. He's made some very important saves, just like Sanchez at the other end.
Yeah, he has. I mean, Sanchez with that really good save to his left, but there was the one in the first half, the free kick that David De Gea saved, and he didn't get a great contact on it, and it came in very quickly, and he just got his right hand across. That was, I think, a good save to him to make. It just lifted him a little bit, got him on his toes, and he just looks a lot sharper, a lot more tuned in this game. So much of that psychological, John, isn't it? When you have performances like that, it's not just, you don't become a bad player overnight. You're just mentally not as tuned in as what you need to be.
Veltman carried the ball a long way there and ended up going down a blind alley, but slid into the challenge and actually just knocked the ball away downfield. Probably the right thing to do. Lindelof then hits the ball downfield. Rashford has tangled with Veltman, who is back in position, and Rashford is claiming there that he was impeded by the Brighton man, and referee Pawson is taking a while over this. I don't think he would have been clean through, in terms of whether it might be a red card. It happened in the middle of a half.
He wasn't getting on the ball, was he? It was too central.
And the referee's taking his time over this. And what's he going to do? I'm not, just with the body language there, I think he might be in two minds here and might not actually have seen what happened.
I'm not even too sure if it is a foul.
Just thought he was getting away. The view that we've had there is from a very distant position.
It's a coming together more than anything, John. He's not deliberately taking him out. So he's given a free kick to Brighton. Or offside, I think it is.
Oh, right.
It might be offside.
Yeah.
I think he's giving an offside, but I think it's more a coming together, and because Marcus Rashford's the attacking player, it always obviously looks a lot worse.
But the Rashford offside came before the foul, as it were, so therefore the offside was given. Brighton attack breaks down with Estupinio. Manchester United come forward. Long pass forward. This is for Rashford to chase. He's up against Veltman again. Gets a touch which takes it out into the full-back position, but Rashford now motoring and shooting across the face of goal and wide and beyond the far post. It had a real bend on it, but it faded away rather than drawing in, and as a result went wide.
Well, we had a great angle of that, didn't we? The movement that Marcus Rashford gets on this ball, he comes inside, he hits it with his right foot really flat, and you managed to get that swerve, but it wasn't the swerve that was going to curl it inside the post. It dipped and moved and then went away from the goal. Ended up being a good couple of yards wide, but he all of a sudden can just spark into life. And I'm looking at Joel Veltman thinking, you just got to hang on here in these situations. He looks a little bit leggy.
Brighton caught in possession. Ball played forward by Weghorst, shouts for handball against Caicedo. That's not given. Mitoma's running the ball away to the halfway line, trying to win a free kick. He's got one. I thought he might have run into Dalot, but the referee's seen that as Dalot blocking the run of Mitoma, and it is a free kick to Brighton inside their own half. I think for the remaining 8 minutes of this extra time in this semi-final, it's going to be absolutely fascinating to see if Rashford gets another opportunity, because he looks back on Son. He's played himself almost back into form, having not been involved in the early stages.
No, and he's come over to this left-hand side, because I think Joel Veltman must be thinking, I've got rid of him, but now he's back on the left-hand side with Weghorst coming in down the middle, so it's just another foil for Manchester United.
Mitoma to Gross, just outside the area. Gross's pass is blocked on the edge of the box. Again, March cutting in field, trying to find a position, but Mitoma takes it up, edge of the knee. Mitoma through into the area. McAllister, Mitoma, De Gea blocks it. Then Estupinian shoots into the outside netting, and the chance is gone. And another save in the midst of all that from David De Gea, who blocked the effort just a couple of yards from the goal line.
I mean, how is that not in the back of the net? The Brighton players, there was almost too many players just queuing up just to tap that one in. The ball never actually made it across. It was lovely play. Solly March linked with Mitoma. He steps in, takes the ball. Great feet, plays a little pass in. The tackle goes in, and just his touch, because he follows his pass, Mitoma, into the bodies, and it's a little bit, there's mayhem in this box at the moment. There's tackles going on, and the touch from Mitoma just to take the ball into his stride and then to put it into the goal, basically an open net with David De Gea coming out, who makes the tackle. His touch is just too heavy, goes away from him, can't find the finish, and another nearly chance goes begging for Brighton.
David De Gea, after Mitoma slid into him, is taking a little while to recover from this. There was also a right kerfuffle going on down on the bench, which I think the substituted Bruno Fernandes might have been involved in, and something happened down there that enraged the Brighton bench, and as we know, Roberto De Zerbi doesn't take much to wind him up, although I think he might have been actually in the coaching area. I think it was the rest of the Brighton contingent who were up in arms over that. Right, De Gea is okay, able to continue. Remember the Europa League final, David De Gea, and not the greatest penalty saving record by any means for a goalkeeper. He has saved a couple since then, but conceded all of them, didn't he, in that shootout against Villarreal.
And Sanchez, I think he's not bad, John. He's got big frame, he's athletic. You feel if he guesses the right way, he's got the capability of getting to one or two and maybe affecting that. But
do you remember hours ago I was telling you there was a bit of unfinished business from his Rochdale days?
That's right,
when he lost a penalty shootout.
I'm sure he's harbouring that. He's saving that up for
all these years. He woke up in the night, Manchester, if only I get another opportunity. Brighton 0, Manchester United 0. We've got less than 5 minutes of extra time to play, and Malacia rather slid in there on Gross, but Shaw did ever so well again for Manchester United. Then Malacia overhits that pass. Weghorst is trying to get there. Veltman as well. Weghorst goes down with a blood-curdling cry, and he wins a free kick, and he punches the air like Tiger Woods. It's a free kick for Manchester United, won by Weghorst.
I mean, I was watching Joel Veltman there, and I'm always thinking, just pull out of this sprint. He's running towards the corner flag. Don't even worry about getting it. Let Weghorst get to the ball there early. He's facing the corner flag. What's he going to do? You're going to make up, you're going to pin him in, his touch is going to go out, but instead he tussles with him and he shoves him and he nudges him, and he's just behind him, nudges him to the floor, and now all of a sudden Brighton got a big set piece to have to defend, and the crowd have just lifted behind that Brighton goal.
3 minutes to play, still 0-0. Sabitzer takes the free kick. That's overhit, horribly overhit, over everyone, and it bounces through, and those Manchester United fans just down to our left, they can all sit down again. Quite a number of flat caps in there as well, I notice, and it's out for a goal kick, and the Brighton supporters can breathe again. Drama to come. Stay with us on 5 Live in the World Service for that. Sunday night drama. Ball played forward, bounces away off March, and then Rashford looking extremely fleet of foot. Marcus Rashford, Fred then gets involved. This is on the left side for Manchester United. Fred square, Casemiro, change of feet from him, low shot, but Sanchez goes down and is able to make a routine save down to his right.
Yeah, good anticipation though. Really got his body across early, Sanchez, because the near post just opened up and he strikes that well. Casemiro along the turf, zinging along the turf with his right foot. Had to get that right, Sanchez, and held on to the ball well.
Manchester United just on top now in the closing stages. If you're on the way home, this match is on BBC One, by the way, or on the iPlayer. United with a cross, which is headed away by Veltman to the edge of the area, away further, headed by March. Then Shaw plays it in, took a deflection, and that carried it further forward. And an easy takedown by Robert Sanchez, the Spanish international goalkeeper of Brighton, as opposed to the Spanish international goalkeeper of Manchester United at the other end, who have both taken great credit from this, the saves that they've made in the match. They're probably the men of the match, actually, for those saves. We're into the last 2 minutes of this second period of 15 minutes of extra time. So I think everyone in the stands steeling themselves for penalties, but there's still time to win this yet. Mitoma on the left-hand side, trying to create that spark for Brighton and Hove Albion. Mitoma takes it on, then passes it back. Estupinian with the cross. Gross was in the middle, but Fred got there to head it away. I thought for a moment there Gross was going to have another one of those moments against Manchester United. Oh, March has done ever so well against Malacia. He's beaten 2 men, plays it across, and it took a deflection off Shaw, who was just in front of him, and De Gea at the near post was conscious. He's let a couple in at his near post this season, and he was right there with his leg next to the post, but it clipped the outside of the post off Shaw and into the outside of the netting. Corner though.
Yeah, Solly March just springing to life, goes past Malacia, then goes past another tackle. I think it's Fred trying to recover, gets to the ball, keeps it in, and then he has his head up and he just wants to square that to the edge of the 6-yard box, and Luke Shaw comes out, gets a good, really important blocking, because if that fires into that area, there's Brighton players arriving for a tap in. It's good defending from Shaw.
Right at the end of extra time, corner to Brighton, and it comes. Oh, Casemiro couldn't get there, but it was headed away from Manchester United, and Sancho took it further away, and Caicedo plays it behind Estupinian. I make it 30 seconds left. That might be the last chance. I was looking at Dunk and Webster, but the corner taker Gross, who now stretches and can't keep the ball in, and it's out, and I think that might be it. I think this semi-final is going to be decided on penalties. We've got 10 seconds of the 15 minutes left. I think there will be a minute to add on, because Robert Jones is standing there with his board. Lindelof to Malacia, out of play for throwing off McAllister. Yep, 1 minute. So there are 60 seconds. 60 seconds to win it, for someone to be an FA Cup hero. Hat-trick yesterday here, no goals today. Casemiro volleys it forward, and given rather tamely away by Dunk to Sancho, to free kick in the centre circle. This will be it. This will be the last chance. Manchester United can send everyone forward.
Are they going to commit people forward with a threat of possibly time for a counter-attack if they don't win this initial header? They have done. They've got all their players up.
Big Weghorst up there, of course, as well now. Shaw's going to take this free kick from the centre circle, so he'll be right down the middle. Shaw plays it now. He's got too much on that. It's gone all the way into the gloves of Sanchez, and I think that is it, as Sanchez just keeps the ball. And there we are, 40 years ago at Wembley, Brighton and Manchester United drew in the FA Cup final. That was a thrilling 2-2 draw. This one here in 2023, this semi-final, has ended goalless after extra time, and whoever is to play Manchester City in the final will be decided on a penalty shootout. The cheers from the Brighton supporters, because in now the pouring rain here in northwest London that is cascading through the open roof of Wembley Stadium, the penalties are going to be taken at the Brighton end. So the Seagulls flags are all waving, and the first man to take one is going to be Brighton's World Cup winner, Alexis McAllister. So David De Gea will be first in goal. Remember that Europa League final in 2021 when David De Gea conceded all 11 Villarreal penalties, and then remember how he missed his own spot kick when it came round to the goalkeepers. He has saved a couple of penalties since then, but his penalty saving record in the Premier League, he saved only 4 of 37 faced in his time as the Manchester United goalkeeper. The Brighton, I think half of Brighton's along the side of the pitch here. They're all standing there, coaches and substitutes all down the side of the pitch. So here we go, penalty shootout to decide this FA Cup semi-final. And Alexis McAllister waiting behind him to the left of the ball. Right for the penalty, sends De Gea the wrong way, and Brighton score the first penalty of the shootout.
Crucial part of this shootout for me. Great selection of Taker, somebody who's been there, done that, played on the big stage, won big trophies, and he certainly delivered with that penalty. Lovely, right-footed, never a doubt really, just smashes it with real power but precision as well to David De Gea's left, really smashes it into that kind of mid to top corner almost from McAllister. Great penalty, great start for Brighton.
So Brighton chose their World Cup winner, Manchester United choose their multiple Champions League winner. It's Casemiro now with Manchester United's first penalty. That's cool. Sent Sanchez the wrong way, dived down to his right, and he side-footed it the other way. 1-1 in the shootout.
I mean, facial expression, body language never changed for Casemiro, just cruised on up to the ball. Very different penalty, much more casual, strokes it low, just sends Sanchez the wrong way, strokes it in the bottom of the corner. Super cool from Casemiro.
So Brighton with Pascal Gross started off at right back today, ended up in midfield, scored 6 goals against Manchester United in his Brighton career, and now he steps back 3, 4, 5 strides, and up he comes, right-footed, high into the net. De Gea went the right way this time, diving to his left, but it was high into the top corner, and there's a double punch of the air from Gross, and a pat on the back of his goalkeeper Sanchez, who's just waiting to take his position again.
Wow, that is some confidence in that strike, because he's gone with his laces there, Pascal Gross. I mean, he's banged it in the top corner, but not with that kind of whipped bend or any kind of side foot. He's gone laces up to high to the right-hand side. Nobody's saving that. High in the roof of the net, great penalty.
Diogo Dalot now for Manchester United. Scored his first Premier League goal last Sunday afternoon. Now taking Manchester United's second penalty in the shootout. Steps out to the left, then little steps, and then right-footed. Good penalty. Sanchez went the right way down to his left, but it was right in the bottom corner, and there's a raised fist from him. 2-2.
He punches the turf, Sanchez. He was close, really close, because he went, guessed the right way. The quality of the penalty was top drawer. I have to say, we've started off on fire with the quality. All 4 penalties, really high standard.
Not the most confident body language, I must say, from Deniz Undav, the substitute who came on, had a couple of chances, and there was that miscontrol. So this is a test of his nerve, a real test of the substitute striker. Short run up for him. 2-2 in the shootout. Undav for Brighton. It's good. It's into the bottom corner. Beyond the dive of David De Gea to his right. Nearly got there with his fingertips, but it was just inside the post, and it's 3-2 Brighton.
Oh, that must feel good for Deniz Undav. There was a rather large exhale on the walk up to that penalty.
I didn't give them the greatest build-up there.
Yeah, no.
Did I slightly betray the fact that
I hope he wasn't listening, John, to be honest. Well, credit to him, hit the target, kept it low, kept it simple, in the back of the net, job done, doesn't matter how it goes in, credit to him.
5 penalties all scored. Now it's Jadon Sancho, who had his penalty saved in the Euros final by Donnarumma. This time it's Robert Sanchez, and Sancho scores! High into the top corner, a very good penalty. That's slain a few demons for Jadon Sancho. 3-3.
Yeah, Cash, kind of a little sidestep, swipe up to the ball, slows it up, hips come through, right foot up to Sancho's left. into the top corner. The net just ripples. Lovely penalty. Really cool, calm and collected from Jadon Sancho.
It's the left back, the Brighton left back, to go next. Purvis Estupinian. Must be the first Purvis, surely, to take a penalty in a shootout in an FA Cup semi-final at Wembley. Let's see what he's up to here. This is Brighton's fourth penalty. All six have been scored so far. And up he comes with a very slow, big steps, run up, and then tucks it away coolly. 4-3 Brighton.
Well, this guy has got some front, actually, because that is almost kind of joking, really, the way he steps, his big lungy strides up to the ball, really interesting technique in the run-up, and just strokes it with his left foot into the bottom corner. Really well put away from Estupinian.
Marcus Rashford next. Scored here many times, but did miss his penalty in the Euros final. That was at the other end, the left end as we look from here. So Marcus Rashford now. Marcus Rashford, right behind the ball, a direct run up. Robert Sanchez on his line, arms raised. Rashford steps out to the left, then comes up and then slows down and scores over the dive of Sanchez to his right, who holds his toes, bending on one knee. But it was too good from Rashford, and it's 4-4.
Yeah, another punch into the grass again from Robert Sanchez, because he dives the right way, but such is the quality of the strike from Marcus Rashford. He just slows himself up, those little tippy toe steps up to the ball to almost call the bluff of the goalkeeper, and he went the right way, Sanchez, but great strike from Rashford.
Well, it's the central defender and captain, Lewis Dunk, who's taken the responsibility of the fifth penalty, so it is sudden death now. Lewis Dunk, Brighton through and through, born in Brighton, 400 appearances for the club. In the rain here at Wembley, against David De Gea. Little steps, right-footed, very good penalty. Sent the Manchester United goalkeeper the wrong way. And a great reaction from the Brighton captain as well. He's pumped up for that. 5-4.
What a penalty. Lewis Dunk opens his body out with the right foot and just cleanly puts it in the other corner, down to David De Gea's left. But so sweet he struck it. I love the reaction right in front of the crowd. All those Brighton fans with their skipper, really does punch the air. You can see what it means to him, Lewis Dunk. Big moment for him.
6:06 on the way. 08085 909 693 to talk to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton.
This one's interesting.
It could be imminent. It's Sabitzer with Manchester United's fifth penalty. Oh, and it's almost saved, but the ball's in the net. Sanchez diving to his right, got a good hand to it. It was above him, but that deflection took it under the inside of the post and into the back of the net, and it's 5-5.
Well, the third one that Robert Sanchez has guessed right, but the only one he's really got good contact with, and he's fuming with himself because he gets good contact on that. The best thing Sabitzer does there is the power. It just shows you power will take a penalty in, even if the goalkeeper gets there, if he strike it clean enough, and worked out in his favour there, Sabitzer.
This is Webster. So Dunk scored his. Now it's the other central defender, Adam Webster. Short run up. He waits, and now he scores! Sends De Gea the wrong way, and Brighton make it 6-5 in sudden death in the shootout.
Well, identical penalty to Lewis Dunk's. Such a high standard here, and what I really feel is that the mentality, the composure, the ability to deal with this kind of pressure has been excellent so far in this shootout. Let's see if it continues.
All penalties scored, 11 penalties out of 11. It's just like that Villarreal final, isn't it, for Manchester United all over again. Weghorst to take it next, the on-loan Burnley man. Tall figure, big breath, right-footed, scores, sends Sanchez the wrong way, and it's now 6-6.
There's a very deliberate send as well. Just leans his left shoulder really early. Looks like he's going to pull the ball across his body, so Sanchez dives to the right, and as he does that, opens up a boot into the other corner, strokes it in. Lovely composure again, really good penalty. Who's going to blink, John? Who's going to not fancy it.
Well, Solly March is the next to walk forward for Brighton, who's having the season of his life. He receives the ball from Weghorst and then stands the penalty spot. David De Gea has just come off his line. The referee has another word with him. So it's a left-footed penalty for Solly March at 6-6 in the shootout. Solly March. Oh, it's over the bar! It's into the Brighton fans! Solly March leans forward and puts his hands on his knees. Brighton track first, and now Manchester United can win it, and with it take a place in the FA Cup final.
Oh, he just had such a stern look on his face there, Solly March. It wasn't a facial expression of one that I'm in the zone but I'm relaxed, I'm composed, and he just tightens up as he strikes the ball, goes for power, but he's leaning back and it just rises and rises over the crossbar.
And it's Victor Lindelof who can win it for Manchester United. Victor Lindelof, right-footed, scores, and Manchester United win the penalty shootout. Such disappointment for Brighton and Hove Albion. They've never won the FA Cup, and it won't be their year in 2023 either. And Manchester United, having already won the Carabao Cup, now will take their place in the FA Cup final, and we will have a first Manchester derby on the first Saturday in June in the FA Cup final. Victor Lindelof, the Swedish part-time central defender really this season, stepped into the action here for the semi-final, and he was the man who won it with his penalty high into the Brighton net. 7-6 Manchester United win the shootout. Matt Upson.
Well, we had to wait a long time to see the ball hit the back of the net, but what we saw was a selection of brilliant penalties, real tough, decision making and the ability to step up and take that under that pressure. I have to admire and credit all players. Solly March, the unfortunate one to miss, just tightened up as he hit the ball, wasn't as relaxed as what he needed to be, but real high level of quality. Two teams very evenly matched. It's, so awful to see it decided in this fashion, but somebody has to win, someone has to lose, and that's why penalties are here, and Manchester United roll on through to the final.
Yeah, on the line for Manchester United, there were a couple of missed penalties, so close to going out of two competitions in the space of just a few days, Thursday night to Sunday, but they have prevailed. They've won the penalty shootout. Their players are now going to their supporters who are standing applauding in the rain here, and we have a Manchester derby to look forward to on what is actually Derby Day. It's the Epsom Derby on the 3rd of June, so double derby on the 3rd of June, and the 142nd FA Cup final will be the first Manchester derby final. 0-0 after extra time, and Manchester United win the shootout 7-6.